And what's up, everybody? This is Terminator Juice, and welcome to the Juice is Loose, number 31. This podcast is entitled The Nintendo Difference, and what we're going to be talking about is what makes Nintendo different, for better or worse. And, I got a few new guests here, and I was going to have an order. You guys introduce yourselves, but I'll just call your names off, and then you can introduce yourselves from there. So we'll start with Rob.
What's up? My name's Rob. I run the channel Rule to Review, and it's my first time being on the Juice is Loose, and I'm pretty stoked, so thanks for having me on, and let's do it.
Sweet. Good to have you, man.
Thanks.
And next we got Mike.
Hey guys, super long time Nintendo fan for my whole life, and I love talking about Nintendo, and I love being on the Juice is Loose podcast, so great to be here tonight.
To have you back.
Oh man, yeah. How's it going? I'm back. How's it going? Yeah, I mean, it's still. I don't know. I just feel like that title still sounds so wrong. But anyway.
What one?
But anyway, how's it going? I've been playing Nintendo. I can't wait to discuss here. But yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's the Red Knight, Mr. Active Gamer Life here, and yeah, I'm just happy to talk about the Nintendo difference. Because it's real, people. It's damn real.
And this is going to be, fanboy warning. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, this is fanboy podcast for sure. Yeah.
Except we got Rob here. He owns all three current gen systems, so he's
yes.
He's here to balance it out.
Well, don't forget, I can help level everybody out, but I am still a bigger Nintendo fan than everyone else, so I will represent as I should. So.
All right. So. Yeah, just real quick before we get into the topic, I just wanted to mention the Mario Kart 8 tournament last week. I couldn't make it. Had a blizzard here in Michigan, and I had 2 foot of snow. I had to do a bunch of shoveling and get to get up early and stuff, so I couldn't make the tournament. So apologize for that. I moved it to Thursdays and didn't even get to race. I didn't even check to see if anybody made it. This week, I guarantee I'll be there. So I just wanted to throw that out before we get to the topic. So, the Nintendo difference and what prompted this was I was reading a forums topic, and some guy was asking the question. He was trying to make it sound like he really wanted to know, and he just couldn't understand. And he wanted to know what the Nintendo magic was when talking about games, Nintendo games and stuff. And he was really looking for people to tell him, and everyone had a different thing to say. So let's start with that, the game development side, Nintendo's developer and publisher, and let's just talk about what it is that makes them different and why people use the phrase Nintendo magic. I'll start with one, and then we'll move on. I think the thing that really separates them, and I know there's a few other studios that do this. I think Platinum Games is one of them, and that's creating the gameplay first, and also the controls, everything going in, and then they build the game around that. That's Nintendo's absolute number one rule. They always make the gameplay first, and they want the game to be fun. And then they add the presentation, they add the levels, they add the characters and the story after that. And the interesting thing about that is even though graphics and presentation it's not their priority, they still make the presentation top notch. They always have the best looking and sounding games on the Nintendo system. So that right there to me is just amazing that they can put gameplay first but still end up delivering just the most amazing presentation on their console. So anybody else want to jump in? I guess I'll call you out. We'll go to Rob first. Anything you want to add to their game development side? What sets them apart? What makes them different?
Yeah, I think what I like about what you just said and what I wanted to add to that is when you talk about how they may be a company that seems to not be about the graphics and the kind of flashy stuff first, but they do make the best looking and playing games on their systems. I think what's really cool and smart about what they do is they do build architecture for their hardware that I think they know that Nintendo's teams will know how to use the best. A lot of people say, oh, it's harder to make a game on the Wii or on the Wii U, and that's why the games are the same on the PlayStation and the Xbox, but they're not going to be the same on the Wii because it's harder to work on that. But I think Nintendo does that very much on purpose to make sure that they and their teams, or even like the third-party teams that they work with very closely, like what they did with Platinum on Bayonetta, they know how to get the most out of that architecture, and it shows. Like, you know, Capcom may not be able to make a next-gen looking or playing game on the Wii U, but Nintendo can do it. And it'll stand toe-to-toe with games like The Last of Us or Gears of War on the other systems. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what sticks out to me, is I think they just make sure that they know how to get the most out of their systems and their hardware, and that's kind of what leads to them making the best games on the market, I think.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
How about Red? You got anything you want to add to the game development side of it?
I think the most important thing is that they are actually a game developer, which is like the biggest thing. That's what Sony and Microsoft, they will never be. They can hire all the developers in the world, but the company, like the president of Nintendo had a hand in creating Kirby, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So that's where the difference comes from. It starts from basically from the top all the way to the bottom. It's just everybody lives and breathes video games. So even when they work with an outside company, they'll make that outside company go, you know, basically to their A game, to the best of their abilities. It's like when Sakurai said, you know, he was looking for a developer to make Smash Brothers, and he was, oh yeah, the best people to do it basically out of Japan was Namco, because, you know, Soul Calibur, Tekken, and things like that. But I will argue their best work is Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that just goes to show, like, that's the Nintendo difference. It's just something about when you put that I won't say seal of quality, just that Nintendo stamp on the box art, the game just turns automatically into gold.
Yeah, I mean,
most of the time.
have you played the first Bayonetta yet on the Wii U version?
No.
Okay.
I've played it. Yeah, I've played it.
The difference in controls and precision and the responsiveness it's almost like it feels like a completely different game when you go
do you
back.
mean between Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2?
Yeah, when you go back to Bayonetta 1 after playing, I put 40 hours into Bayonetta 2, and it's like it's so much harder, and it's the controls are.
It doesn't feel as good. Totally, I agree. It does not feel as good.
And it's like, did Nintendo have a part in that? I kind of feel like they did, but I don't know.
Yes, they did. They did. I'm
like,
sure of it. Yeah.
It feels so much more responsive and fluid on the second game, and it's like, I mean, the first game was still great. I really enjoyed it, but that second one just improves upon that aspect of controls, which was really all it really needed. And you know, some of the art style was a little dull in the first game. But yeah, you could really tell Nintendo had a part to play in making that game so much better.
You know what I'll say to that?
Nintendo has a great pride in what they do, and they make sure that whatever they put out is going to be better than anything else out there. So if Bayonetta 1 was okay or really good, then Nintendo, they want to make it great. They want to make it, you know, top quality, best that they could possibly make it. You know, that's why Nintendo is such an awesome developer, because they really care about how we play our games.
That's fair. Red, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was going to add that even if Nintendo didn't have an actual, you know, part in the game, you know, whether it feels better or something like that, the one thing that Nintendo did have, you know, factually a part in was that Platinum had basically more than likely a bigger budget, and more important than that, they had endless amount of time to work on the game. Nintendo isn't going to launch a game till it's actually done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
Where
probably
Sega will
love
say,
that.
hey, we need the game out by October. You know, Nintendo will say, we need the game out by the day that you feel it's done. You know, that's when we're ready.
And that game was done like in September, so like they just kept the date. You know, they're not gonna. It'd be nice if they pushed it up, but they had higher orders. But you know, they gave them plenty of time, make sure it's done, and then they set the date that they thought would be the best for that game to be successful too.
Well,
So
there was
Devil's
some
Third.
there was some interviews that I heard in like the months leading up to Bayonetta's release, and it was from someone from Platinum Games. I don't remember who. We probably all heard it, where they mentioned how much they loved working with Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we would have this idea, and we would be doing this, and then someone from Nintendo would look at it and be like, oh, okay, like that's really good, but maybe try it this way or this way, and they'd be like, well, damn, that's even better, and then they did that.
Did you hear the Wreck-It Ralph story?
No, I didn't.
That they wanted to use Bowser and Wreck-It Ralph. So Nintendo sent over sketches and concept arts of how Bowser holds the teacup. Like
My God.
they wanted to make sure that whoever produced, I believe it was Disney or whatever,
it was.
but whoever used, using Bowser and Wreck-It Ralph uses him exactly the way that Nintendo envisions him to be.
They're like, Bowser knows his tea. Don't mess up his
Yeah,
tea.
exactly.
I'm telling you, like they made sure that they knew his mindset, how he would hold the cup, and everything. It's like, whoa, like he's, they don't mess around when it comes to their franchises. You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
So, Mike, since you're talking, why don't you go ahead and add to the game development side of this?
Yeah, Nintendo is just amazing when it comes to the amount of content that they have in their games. They not only keep familiar elements of previous titles, but they expand and create something new, further deepening, the appeal of their IPs. Like for example, you had Super Mario Brothers on the NES, and it was just jumping and collecting power-ups and going on a side-scrolling stage. And then you had Super Mario World, which was an evolution of that, but it was much bigger. The graphics looked amazing, and now you've got a dinosaur that you can jump on, eat enemies, and get all different types of power-ups. Then you had Super Mario 64, where you could go 3D, and that's never been done before, and you had this open-world exploration. And then you had Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube, where the open world exploration was, beefed up by 100, and the levels were humongous, and now you had a jetpack with water that could hover you everywhere, and you could use the jetpack like you could use the water pack, like a jet for skiing, or you could use it for hovering or cleaning up pollution and stuff. Like they just keep adding and adding and adding to the same franchise, and it makes games completely different. Then you have Mario Galaxy. And Mario Galaxy was, gravity mechanics and, orbiting and all these crazy different platforming levels. Everything's just different, and the amount of content that Nintendo puts in its games, it's never the same. Every, game, I mean, even a sequel from Nintendo, there's going to be something different about it. Like in Star Fox Wii U coming out now, you're going to be able to, be able to see the cockpit. First person, in the cockpit, and one view will be cinematic, and one view will be like that. They're always trying to add something new to their games. They're always making sure that the content is, beefed up to perfection as it could be. That that it's comfortable to play, that it feels right, that it creates a new gaming experience that the previous game didn't have. And
Yeah,
this is why Nintendo is just so amazing, because they care about how we feel with the games. They want us to, be immersed in this world that they created for us, and this new, situation per each game. And it's always something new. It's always something they treasure, that they take pride in making sure that the fans have something new, and that the fans can, be amazed, like that nobody can do it but Nintendo. That's the attitude that they take. They're not in it. Of course, they're a business that wants to make money, but they're not in it in the sense where it's like it's all about the dollar, because it's not all about the dollar. It's all about their reputation and how we react to their games. That's how it is.
That's a great point. And there's a lot of people that say every Mario game's the same, but anybody that plays them, all of us here know that that's just absolute BS. So.
Yeah, I hate that excuse, man. People want to say that about Nintendo games, and it's like building off of what you said, Mike, like, yes, they may release one Mario game every year or a couple of years, but whenever Nintendo makes a new iteration of one of their franchises, it's still so vastly different from the previous one that it's still just bursting with new ideas every time. They don't recycle anything.
Yeah, the closest thing they ever did was Galaxy 2. I mean, they built upon.
Yeah, that was pretty much the same.
But they really improved the how you got to the levels and stuff.
Well, Galaxy 2 was basically leftover ideas from Galaxy 1 that they didn't have enough time to put in levels in Galaxy 1 that they really wanted to do.
Yeah, that just shows how many ideas they have. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and even then they had the cloud suit, the rock suit, which was brand new gameplay.
Yep.
was nothing
That
like that in the
Yoshi.
first one.
Yoshi would eat like a
Yeah,
pepper.
Yoshi.
That was some of the most challenging
Like
parts
I
of the
think
game.
that doesn't even
Yeah.
get enough credit for how different it was for it being like reused, well not reused, but ideas that they didn't use,
Hmm.
which goes to show like their ideas. They always have great ideas.
Just like
Just
with
imagine what games like ideas never got used, never got their Galaxy 2.
yeah, I guarantee they'll do something similar to a Galaxy game again someday. It'd be
If
nice.
they just did Galaxy 3, like, I would be totally okay with it.
Oh, I don't think
That's all they
everybody
need.
would.
Daddy.
That
And
would
you
be
could
amazing.
bet that if they did a Galaxy 3, that it would have something unique to it that the other Galaxy games wouldn't have,
Mhm.
and it would be much more it would be just like those games in terms of quality, in terms of amazing gameplay and everything like those games, but with something added new and with a brand new experience, that we
Oh,
could
the
be immersed.
gamepad. They would probably do really cool things with the gamepad.
Yeah, because people didn't think the Wii remote on Galaxy did anything, but I watched a guy who did like a 30-minute review, and he was a little critical, but he did say he really liked using the Wii remote pointer to get star bits while he was still running on the path, like using, what did they call it? Doing
A
two
little
things at
reticle?
once.
Yeah.
Doing like two things at once, like he's getting,
Multitasking?
I used to do that. Like that was a goal of mine. I'm like, I'm gonna run down this narrow path and I'm gonna collect the star bits off to the side at the same time. Like I gave myself a little meta game that in the game I would try to do that, and that I felt really like that was the best way to play that game. Like I wouldn't want to play that game with the Pro controller.
The other thing that I liked too was when he would I can't remember like a good example, but sometimes Mario would be like in a slingshot thing, and you'd have to
Mhm.
like point and grab and pull him, and then let go with the
Yeah.
Wii remote. Yeah, that stuff is like really simple but really effective and fun.
Yeah, they use it a lot in the first game. I don't think they use it too much in the second one, but there was just so many new ideas, and 3D World was the same thing. But let's give Mega a chance to chime in before we get too far off talking about Mario.
A bunch of fanboys. Let's see. But honestly, like, when Nintendo brings out a game, when you go to the game, many third parties, right, they would come out with games, and yet you would find a bug and a glitch just automatically right from the beginning. But mostly with Nintendo, it really does not happen most of the time. And that's really good because in order to, like, let's say, example, Ocarina of Time, in order to get those glitches and bugs, you have to search for them. They don't just happen. You have to search for them. And that's really something that, that it really is impressive with their game design. And honestly, I really like how they just polish everything too, to where it looks great. Like we got examples like we're getting from Wind Waker, the HD remake, of course. We got Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. We also have Mario Galaxy, like you guys mentioned. We got a bunch of games that just look so good, and whenever you go to play them, you barely get any problems. Of course, not every game is perfect. Of course, we all know this, but it's just when you go to a Nintendo game, like you can barely find anything wrong, and you have to be that one in like, I don't know, in a millionth chance of getting that one disc of Smash Brothers that is so bad. But it's like that. So far, that's only been one case, and that's pretty amazing, I have to say.
Yeah,
So,
and I just wanted to point out I played Ocarina of Time multiple times. I've never encountered a bug. I know there are some, but I never encountered any.
It's mostly the kind of thing that people have like gone out of their way to exploit. Like they find a glitch and then they like do it over and over again, and people used to make websites and stuff about it. But it's not the kind of thing that you'll like randomly run into and then like, oh, I can't play the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, like because I watched these speedrunners, they just had their whole speedrun thing this last weekend during the weekend too. And this guy, the last game that they were playing was Ocarina of Time, and he was doing so many glitches that I was just like, what the heck? Like there's a glitch where you put a bomb and then you get into it, but then you put up your shield and you start sliding backwards, and that would basically be like a speed kind of thing.
Mm.
It's really, you really have to find these things. You can't just be like, it just happens. Because I remember this one time, okay? My friend was playing Tomb Raider. It was on the PS4. My friend was playing Tomb Raider. He was live streaming. I went to this thing because he was like, oh, yo, you just want to check me out. So I was like, okay. He goes to Tomb Raider. This was the definitive version. And he goes in there. Now, this is a path you have to go, right? There's paths where you have to go in order to progress through the game. He goes through the path, and what happens? He falls right through the floor, basically going to hell. I'm not lying. He's like, it's literally all dark, and there's you can see a spot of red and everything. I'm just like, what the frick? So, you rarely find that in Nintendo games, and sometimes they would you would find game-breaking glitches and stuff like that, but it's very rare to find them in every little bit of the game. So honestly, Nintendo has the best development because other guys like Sony and Microsoft, they just came in because they thought it was a good idea to enter the gaming market. But Nintendo, even though they have been doing love hotels and that sort of jazz that you never thought they would be known for, they really were going into gaming. Like now they're just a gaming company. And of course now they're a toy company because of Amiibo, but
they were initially a toy company.
Yeah, they were a toy company, but now they're officially and a card, yeah.
Started out as a trading card company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how long is it? 1890.
Over 100, yeah.
Yeah, it's been over like 100 and something years. Crazy, and the company's still going. So
it's 50. Is it 50 years of Mario now? Right?
No,
30,
it's like 30.
Mario's on his
30
30th year.
Dang,
But they doomed, right?
Yeah. Every year. Every day. There's a
But,
new-
look, they are a very profitable company, and it's not just games. Like they try to stay ahead of the trends, and they try to look for new venues. Like they're getting heavy now with this quality of life program. They're trying to invest in that technology, and they also got the Amiibos now. They're making a lot of money off the Amiibos. So Nintendo's smart. They know how to stay in the game.
Yeah, but the Wii U was a failure because the Dreamcast sold more within the first 2 years. So.
Dude,
Even though the Dreamcast was done after 2 years, never sold another console. But anyway, let's not get off topic on that just yet. I wanted to just bring up a point while Meg was talking about polished games. Like back in the cartridge days, they had to. Like there was no patching, and even like the early disc days, there was no download and updates. So they just came from a time when you had to have that game finished. Like if you didn't, people bought a broken game, they were stuck with it. And they still have that mindset, even though Smash Brothers they is the only game I know of where they released it before everything was in there. The game still works perfectly, but they have that mindset of like they print it on the disc, and in their mind they want that game to be all you need is that disc. You don't need to have the internet to update to make it work, and that's the mindset they still have, and I hope they never lose that. Because that's a good mindset to have, because I mean they could easily have done what everyone else does and just release it on time and have it patch it later, like Master Chief Collection and Assassin's Creeds and all those. So the one last point I want to talk about their game development, which no one's mentioned, is the music and the quality of the music. So
Dude,
anybody want to just go ahead?
I'll go first. All right, listen. I love when music, especially because I love when they switched Mario to jazzy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I loved it because I'm a guy that likes music that has feeling and actually goes with what's happening, right? So when they switched this whole way of switching their music, now what they did at the award show needs to happen for the next Zelda. Just saying, with Imagine Dragons. And Koji Kondo, just saying, that better be for the next Zelda. But their music, when they get these people, it's just beautiful. Like they brought them that one year in E3, it was 2011, and when they were showing the orchestra for Zelda, I even went to the symphony concert.
That was
it was
awesome.
just beautiful. It was great. It was just like, and they were putting up the gameplay too. It was just when you hear the music, it was awesome. Especially live. So when they work with their music, it's beautiful. they have the best artists ever. They have the best directors for it, composers. You know, they have the best. And honestly, Nintendo should just keep going on with this music as they have. And Miyamoto, I know Miyamoto, even like if he finds something wrong with the music, because he takes that serious. Trust me, he did that for Galaxy, and he also did that for 3D World, because he basically is just like, all right, if this music don't fit, you're gonna start over. So that's how he rolls. He really wants to make sure that with his games, his IPs, that the music fits, and that's what I like, because that's what should be with their games. So definitely Nintendo, all-time like best guys for a soundtrack, just great.
Yeah, I mean, other games have had pretty stellar soundtracks, like Child of Light earlier this year or early last year.
I mean, not doubting anybody else, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody else, like all these other companies, have great directors for and composers for music. It's awesome, but like Nintendo really brings that out where they kind of switch it up and put their Japanese flavor in there. You know, that's what I love, especially. So, yeah.
They're memorable songs too.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I was gonna say. Is they're really good at like the jingle and the hook. You know, like the things that just get stuck in your brain, and you're like, oh,
Yep.
I will always associate that with this game and this character.
Because how many of you have the Smash Brothers? I mean, come on. You can.
I hum that at work. Like just
Like,
Yeah.
you know what it is.
Even the Splatoon theme is already like stuck in my brain. I hum that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's like, I never played that game a day in my life.
Wait, which one? Which one is it?
The Splatoon theme.
Oh yeah.
from the single player trailer.
Yep.
It was like I still remember it. It's crazy, you know. It's like
one. Either one. Like there's two themes that we've heard so far.
yeah, that was the with the single player and the multiplayer, like the
Yeah,
bam, 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 yeah.
Bro, that you have that one in the main one.
Look at what you did. I'll be singing it all night.
You know what? You know what? If I had like a budget and like worked somewhere legitimate, one of the things I would like to do, I'd like somebody like IGN or somebody to go out on the street and give people the choice. Like, okay, I can either tell you the game and you can see if you can hum the song, or we'll play you part of the song and you tell me which game it's from.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee if they picked like God of War and Gears of War and all these other games, no one would be able to pick because they're just kind of generic. They might have good like violins or something, but you're not going to pick it out for an individual
It's
game.
not memorable, yeah.
Yeah, and
Except for Halo. I will say
Halo,
Halo.
yeah.
Halo's the only one I would say.
Final
actually-
I would remember Halo. Uncharted, kind of. I remember that one.
But like if someone went.
But Assassin's Creed, I wouldn't know.
No.
Dude, automatic response for the Mario theme would just be like Mario, because
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Mario and Zelda are iconic. Like,
Yeah.
Town from both of those games, you know. Those
And
franchises.
there's just they just
Even like Star Fox 2, like that's pretty well known.
yeah.
Donkey Kong.
Oh,
Donkey Kong.
Kong,
Go
yeah.
Pac-Man.
Goes to
Well,
the
Pac-Man's not Nintendo.
Huge. It goes to the the huge IP list that Nintendo has. You know, all their characters. They have
And,
so many.
Like David Weiss doing Donkey Kong Country, like
Red Knight will appreciate this, but all the old school Metroid stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Sonic also.
Yeah.
I love Sonic. I'll always listen to Sonic 1, 2, and 3 music.
Oh, dude, you
Some of
posted
the newer
even-
games have good music.
Yeah, Red Knight, you posted one of your podcasts a couple weeks ago, I think, and it started with like Sonic 2 music. Was that
Yeah.
you? Oh my god,
Yeah.
I lost my mind. I was like, I was almost sad when you started talking. I was like, darn it, I was not done listening.
You know what's funny? I haven't played the original Metroid Prime since
Ooh.
probably 2006, and I can hear the menu music in my head right now. Like,
It's time to re-up. You got to play it again.
you know,
Yep.
I can't. My GameCube, I don't know.
I don't know, man. After getting 100% in that game, I never wanted to play it again.
I need to get the trilogy, is what I need to get.
Because
Yes,
there's
you do.
So much.
Oh, you
to
never
do in
got the
that game.
trilogy?
No, I had all three, so I was like, I don't need the trilogy, but I should
Oh, I
have.
had all 3. I still needed it.
Yeah, same here. I bought the launch day one with the metal case and the collector's thing. That's what I got.
Yeah, I wish.
Beautiful.
I had
It's beautiful.
No, I only have the GameCube one and then the 2 on the Wii. That's it.
that.
But even Kirby has great music. Like
Yeah.
the list of their games, Yoshi, another one. Even to talk about another game that isn't out and you already know the music from it, Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like that music is memorable.
Beautiful.
Cable Tie 7 actually has a relevant question. Do you agree Nintendo makes the best music by far? What is your favorite Nintendo soundtrack? His is Pokemon Emerald. I'm gonna say, I hate to pick like recent stuff because it's always fresh in your mind. You always want to say that, but I think Super Mario Galaxy for me is one of the best ones, and The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword, probably two of my all-time favorites.
I gotta go Metroid Prime. I have to go Metroid Prime.
I was gonna say Galaxy because when I first heard that orchestrated music, it blew my mind.
Yeah, Galaxy,
Dusty
man.
Garden,
Especially, yo, Bowser's theme is boss.
Yeah.
Yo,
3D World, you gotta give it to that.
Oh, 3D World was awesome too.
Yeah.
3D World just had the great Bowser. Yo, his themes for those games are just amazing. It's like, oh dang,
I mean,
it's
can we
my
really
time to
choose?
save the world.
Bowser
give it up
officially
to
has
it.
the best music
Think of
of
all the
any-
Nintendo titles. Like in my head right now, I'm thinking of A Link to the Past. Like, can you really
Definitely.
choose like between all the games that they have? What the best soundtrack was?
Well,
A Link to
yeah,
the Past
and
was amazing.
And when I think
Yeah.
of Zelda, I actually go right to the Wind Waker because that's my favorite game, and I think the music was awesome.
That menu music with the flute. That
Yep.
was,
You know it.
So
It's
much
so
music in
good.
that game.
we could be talking about the music for the next hour. It's that.
Isn't this the music podcast? Wait, I'm confused.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like really, they do stand apart with the music, especially. I just think that's everything else makes them stand apart, but the music is just. I mean, that just puts them on a whole nother level that no one else is even close to. I mean, a lot of games use licensed music now, and I think it was last year GTA 5 won for best soundtrack instead of Super Mario 3D World, and I really that pissed me off. I'm sorry, that pissed me off, and there was actually Games
I don't
Radar.
think real quick. I don't think that music that's like pulls from like real life.
Third party, yeah, like licensed music.
Licensed music should ever be like orchestrated, like real creative, like composed music.
Well, that's why they're technically different things too. That's like a soundtrack is licensed music. A score is original music written for a game or a movie. Yeah,
they could have best soundtrack and best score. I mean, it's like
you got it.
But this year, I know there was a website, Games Radar, and they gave Smash Brothers like best soundtrack,
obviously.
and it's like about time. And like if someone like people would have ignored this year with Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, and Smash, like those are the top three. I don't care who you are. Destiny's, I guess, is pretty good, but I'm sorry, you can't top those three.
I actually have to say, and I know everyone's going to jump down my throat, but I do think Destiny was the best music of this year.
Okay.
It really was amazing. So also Hyrule Warriors, by the way, remixing all those Zelda songs.
Yeah,
that
was cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
I haven't
before
played
we-
Destiny, so I can't
Before
say.
we get off of music, you gotta also like mention, because Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze did this, and Mario games been doing this for a long time. But like they'll have a tune, and once you jump in the water, it'll turn into an underwater tune. But it's the same tune. But it sounds like if you're listening
Different
to
instruments.
underwater.
it's such a
Yeah.
nice touch. It's such a good touch.
They use like the steel drums, like in the Caribbean and stuff, when you go underwater in Mario Kart on the Dolphin Shoals. Yeah, and that's a cool. I'm glad you brought that up.
Reminds me of the original
Because
Donkey
everything
Kong
did it.
Country.
Metroid did it. Everything did it.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country, the original, was like it'd get that. It would change
Fantastic
completely,
music.
kind of, but
Yeah.
when the third lap of Mario Kart 8 on Dolphin Shoals, when you get out of the water and the saxophone's just tearing it up. Once you get out of the water, you hear that saxophone ripping. It's amazing. And to watch watch that live band, if you've seen the videos where they show them recording it in like a little 2-minute trailer, and they have the actual. It's funny seeing, for me, I don't know, maybe this is racist, but seeing Japanese people just rip on like a bass guitar, like I'm just not used to seeing that, and I think it's really cool. And like just seeing that band, how awesome they are, at jazz music is really cool to me.
You know, in 3D World, there's a stage. I know you're gonna know the music, but it's that music that goes dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
Yeah,
The rock.
that stage when you go into the water, the way that song changes, I love it. So, like something like that had to be like the best tune of last year, well, of 2013.
When you started humming that, I immediately saw a beach and water.
Exactly, them little blue dudes in the water.
Okay, let's. I love talking about the music and stuff, but
Yeah, we could
I
do
want to
that
move
all
on
day.
to the next Nintendo difference, and that's how they provide us with information, news, and they give it directly to us. So Nintendo Directs are, something they started what 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I
Two
forget.
or 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
started
think
with
yeah, it
like
might be going on 4 already. I think.
they had like the Nintendo Video channel on the Wii. I think that kind of started
Yeah,
it.
but
So
I guess that's kind of a good question. Did they start the directs after the Wii U came out or before the Wii U came out?
I want to say.
'Cause, yeah,
I
I
want to
don't
say
know.
They
before.
did
I think
before.
they,
They did before.
yeah, wasn't it
Did they?
3DS? I think it was 3DS. Like,
Yeah,
Or is that
3DS.
Nintendo
3DS.
Minute though? Is that the same thing?
no, they had the Nintendo Video channel that had a little show
Oh yeah.
with like a little cute blonde girl and some other kind of
Hmm.
a nerdy dude, and that was on
oh
the
yeah, I
the
met
Wii.
them. Yeah, that's on Nintendo Week, right? Nintendo Week.
Yeah, yep. And I think that kind of started the ball rolling for Nintendo Direct. So what do you think of Nintendo Directs? I mean, that's definitely different than how the other companies do it. They usually just rely on, they'll give the information to IGN, they'll give them an exclusive look or something,
Yeah. Or
and
Yeah.
then
Game
and then
Informer, Game
yeah, and
Yeah.
Informer.
then they'll add their own little spin, and Nintendo just kind of just gives it directly to us, hence the name. So
Yeah.
whoever wants to go first on Nintendo Directs, I mean, how do you feel
Um,
about?
yeah, I think it shows that they really care about how we perceive their product, and they want to make sure that we're getting the most accurate information, and that uh, it's just I think it's another revolutionary tactic that they've employed, because it is so much more different than what the competition does, because not only are we getting to see what the games look like, and what's coming out, but we're also getting to see like a whole presentation in a show, and it's like very entertaining, and or at least some of them have been, but
Yeah,
like
they've added some pretty good production value to a couple of
yeah,
them.
it's just like it was another way to liven up the way we receive gaming news, from them, and it was a way to personally reach out to us, the fans, and it was just I don't know, it's just better. It led to the whole E3, where Nintendo didn't do E3, instead they did the Direct, and look how amazing that was. Their Direct ended up blowing the show away. You know what I'm saying? Like way better than E3 anything, because we got nothing but gameplay footage, and no cutscenes or
CG.
CG or anything like that. We got actual gameplay, and we got we didn't get empty promises. We got to see everything they were going to do, and the focus was nothing on only on games and nothing but games. And I think Nintendo's Directs have just been a straight approach to this is what we do. This is the games we make, and we want to show you exactly how we do it, and we want to give you a feel of that Nintendo magic we were talking about. That's what the Directs seem all about to me. Feeling that
Yeah.
Nintendo magic.
So does it make it a little bit easier for you guys? Like instead of waiting for E3 every year, we kind of get. I know they're not exactly mini E3s, but it's kind of nice, I think, to get like the little informational video.
It's
seeing
like an
what's
update.
coming. Yeah,
Yeah,
like an
it's a
update.
video press release. Instead of getting a press release that just tells you, "Oh, this is what's happening," you get a nice video. It feels exciting, like basically like how would you describe this? I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. It's not a heroin shot like E3. It's like just like snorting a line of cocaine. Put it like that.
It's getting your fix. You mean like getting your
Yeah.
fix?
Basically.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
I think that the other cool aspect that I think people don't talk about enough with Directs is it's also really good for other developers. Like the fact that Platinum Games makes this exclusive game for a Nintendo console, and then Nintendo's like, hey, we're also going to give you a half an hour dedicated to showing all the fans of our system and of your game why it's great, and you can further convince people to pick up and purchase your game and support it.
Mhm.
And that's a cool thing that I would feel like as a developer, they should be really excited to maybe work with Nintendo and get that opportunity. Sony or Microsoft does not give the people that make their games that opportunity to show off their product.
Right.
And that's awesome, I think.
No, they'll show that
They
E3.
do make sure to put every single game packaged with the console.
Yeah.
You
It's like, yeah,
know?
we're going to give you 3 seconds in a montage video, so how about that?
They said you can pack your gaming to sell our system though.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great strategy if you don't want to make any money. You want third parties to make tons of money, but
Yep.
Nintendo, they did the directs, but it also pissed off some places. IGN, GameStop or GameSpot, Game Trailers, I don't think they like the directs that much because it kind of does their job for them. And I know a lot of
Well,
those-
that's what Nintendo's doing, is sidestepping the BS of a lot of that. Though.
Mhm.
They're like
Right.
they're creating a culture where they can say we can survive just on who we are, how awesome we know our product is, and how much we care for our fans, and we
Right.
can make it without you guys, kind of, which is also awesome.
Yeah, and it takes away the negativity. Like you can read an article like about something good, and they always throw some sort of negative
it's
spin on
bad.
the end. You know?
And
All right,
Nintendo,
It's crazy. It's crazy how they're doing more than what third parties would, because they're getting another fighting game. Yes, it's only in Japanese arcades for now. But Pokken Fighters, right? We got that game. I know that game's going to Wii U. 'Cause there's no reason why they would tell us. Why would they give us English? It's just be like, ha ha ha, ha Americans. But it's just. We also got let me see, our racer, which is like basically our kart racer. We got Mario Kart. We also have our action adventures, which are like Zelda. We got our action platformers, which are Mario's, Donkey Kong's. We got basically all these genres within one company. So that's crazy,
it's true.
So we really don't have to, like, it would be nice. Trust me, I won't deny it. Probably no one would. It would be nice to have third-party support. It really would. I would love to have some third-party games on here. But it's just they're not bringing it. So how could I, really support them?
And not B
They're not
team
bringing it.
third party games.
Yeah.
Not even
And
B
how-
team, excuse me, C teams. Because B team that gets shared between Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so
Yeah.
C teams, F teams.
Because honestly, it's like we would accept a game, but you, as a developer, you have to make it work. It has to be working, okay? Because you don't want somebody at your press conference being like, "Does it work?" It's just like someone just shout it out. So, because I'm learning to be a developer myself, I want to be in this field. I want to make the best quality games I can. So, these guys are just really, really, really throwing it down, I have to say. And I can't wait to get in here so that way I'm not going to use that word, so I can show them what a real game should be and how it should be done, because this is quality that Nintendo is bringing us, that they're putting in so much content in each and every single game that they bring out. They're giving us free DLC, or actually, as I should say, add-on content, which is actual add-on content. It adds on to the game, So honestly, this what Nintendo is doing, they're building their own kind of ecosystem there, and they're really bringing in all their genres in together. And oh yeah, I forgot the one racer, that F-Zero. Oh yeah, they have the.
Yeah, I wondered
other
about
racer.
that.
Yeah.
We need a new control.
Yeah,
Analog-
I don't buy that. I don't believe that.
Analogs ain't good enough.
Oh man, Miyamoto, you freaking troll.
So before we get off onto I want to talk about the DLC and stuff in the.
Oh, I had something to add too.
Okay.
Also.
Go ahead,
Oh.
and I do want to talk about the live at the Treehouse that they've
Oh,
done.
before
Now-
the DLC, it was, what was it you mentioned? You mentioned, oh yeah, the way that directs actually, give us the news.
Mhm.
Like for example, if there was a new Nintendo Direct, right, and they were talking about Splatoon, it would start with, oh, brand new IP Splatoon, which was revealed last year at E3. Here's new footage and blah blah blah. But if it was the other way around, where it was Game Informer IGN, it would start with, even though the sales of the Wii U are, low, and Nintendo can't seem to manufacture amiibos at a fast enough rate, here comes his brand new IP, Splatoon. Like, why was all of that there at the beginning?
Yeah, they can't resist the negative spin. They just can't.
Yeah, they
do
always
it.
got to throw the jabs in.
The last thing I read on IGN was last year when it was right before Wind Waker came out. You know, the digital version came out in September, if I'm not mistaken, like a couple weeks early, and then the physical copy came out in October. So the end of that quarter was September 30th, and IGN reports on, you know, Nintendo sold 200 and some thousand units, which was like quadruple what it'd done the previous 3 months. And then they threw on, and this, but the bad news is this included a big release like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and like, no, it came out in October, you idiots. The digital version, if you bought the bundle, you could get the digital version. It's like, but they had to make it sound like it was available for the whole quarter.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that stuff.
I don't know, and it's just, I don't go to there very often. I did check their Game of the Year like nominees and stuff, but I don't know. So I want to talk about the Live at the Treehouse real quick before we get on to the last main topic. They did one at E3, and then they did one, I think it was for Smash 3DS, where they announced the demo was available and all that. That was just another way. I think that's even a more like showcase for their games than the directs, because you're seeing like the Treehouse people who work there just playing the games, and it's live, and like, you know, there's nothing to hide there. There's nothing scripted and all that. I think that's an even better thing, and that was very popular at E3. I know I was watching people's podcasts, and I'm just like, I'm missing the Treehouse, so I had to like just turn off the podcast and watch the Treehouse. So I don't know how you guys felt about the Treehouse.
I mean, the Treehouse was just awesome, what they did last year in E3. And, of course, we're going to see it again because it worked out so well. And I love how it was just so great when because the way that it's not on a PC, because I know I saw that Twitch chat. That was crazy. And then when they press the home menu, I'm just like, well, there you go. There's your proof. So what they did was great. They explained every single game they went through. They went through the 3DS games. They went through the Wii U games. Even some virtual console, not virtual console, digital games. Yeah. eShop, there you go, eShop titles. So if they keep this up, which they should, honestly, this will be probably the best thing they've ever done. They're actually showing people what's here, what's going to be in the game. Of course, don't spoil everything, but just how the game's going to be and how it's going to play. And I like that they were showing it without doing any kind of secretivity. I probably said that wrong.
Editing, and they weren't editing out stuff.
It's live gameplay.
It's live gameplay. It's right there, direct feed. Pure. You know, it was just crazy. I really liked it.
I feel like the other guys would be way too terrified to let anyone just play their game.
Well, let's
first of all, so
it's not live gameplay like Watch Dogs in 2011 that you could obviously wasn't live gameplay. Like that was
sadly no.
That was so scripted.
I had the same feeling about The Division the first time they showing it, and a lot of games, and you know, that's just the way they do it. Batman Arkham Knight, I kind of skeptical that was running actual game. Like I can't trust anybody else. Nintendo.
Nobody could blame you for having like reservations now.
Because honestly, it's like they put, like, let's say the booths that they have, right? They have these nice booths. They show the console there. It looks like it's powered on. They have the blue light running. But then all of a sudden, inside that booth is a PC. So
it crashed. Somebody was saying last Xbox One or PS4 game crashed, and the Windows 7 logo came up. Like,
oh, no way.
But they had the unit sitting there, and like you were playing.
God damn it! That's so ridiculous.
And that goes into the whole Nintendo, like you know, just their quality of, it's not like it's just not lying. It's being honest. Like, this is what we have. So we're not going to make it seem better than what it is, because this is what it is. It will be better because it's in development. But these guys, they show you something that they're never going to reach. So all you have now is basically to wait till the disappointment comes.
And that's the issue. Yeah, and that's another important difference. Nintendo shows you where it's at early in development, and the next time you see it's better. Whereas with a lot of the other AAA.
Yeah, look at Hyrule Warriors. Like, it literally got better as it got closer to release.
I think 3D World is the best example of that,
Mhm.
Oh, 3D World was
Wait till you see Devil's Third.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
I
God.
cannot wait.
Zelda when we actually see more in the next direct feed. So that's definitely a Nintendo difference right there. They show us the game for better or worse, what state it's in, and then the next time you see it, it's better.
Exactly, for better or worse, because Skyward Sword, the situation that happened on stage,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, where they got so bashed for that. Every single publication was talking more about that than the actual game, even though they all made sure to put in their articles deep within it. Oh, but on the actual show floor, it played great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
whole
that's
all
hidden.
right, so 500 words are dedicated to talking about Miyamoto on stage and it not working, and that hurt the product. When if they did the same thing to the other guys, nothing would sell
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, yeah, well, basically nothing you saw at E3 was really what you're getting. Enjoy.
That's pretty true, and it worked against Sonic Boom because a lot of people
Oh,
were excited for that game, and then E3 came, and like people were like this game's it's not good. There's no way they're gonna have it ready, and they got to give Sega credit. They showed the game as is, and
yep.
it turned out the way people were saying. But let's move on to the final major point I want to talk about, and we've kind of touched upon this a few times. People have mentioned it, but that's how Nintendo treats the customer base with fair. They don't lie. They give us fair pricing. You put a disc in, your system can be offline, and you put that disc in. You put in Bayonetta 2, and you're going to play the same game I have because there hasn't been an update for it yet. It hasn't needed one.
Mhm.
And same thing, I think some of the other games had some minor, like Tropical Freeze had one little save glitch on like World 5 or something, like a little something on the level messed
Which I'm
up.
sure nobody here actually encountered.
No one actually
Nope.
encountered.
There
No.
was a game-breaking glitch in Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
Where
that's if you did something out of
Oh yeah, what
Yeah.
was
sequence.
that?
They fixed it.
It was if you defeated the dragons in a certain order, that your save file would become corrupted and you would
Yeah,
no
because you would
longer.
get
Wow.
stuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they
But
actually,
they sent a patch out for it like a couple weeks after, like 2
and you
weeks.
could send your memory card to them. They'd pay for it, and they would fix it and keep you and have you right where you left off. And with that, they had
Oh,
a
that's
way.
pretty cool.
They took care of it. It's an inconvenience, but that was one of the few times. But
And if I'm not mistaken, on the Wii side of the Wii U, that's like automatically downloaded that patch.
yeah,
Yeah, and you got to
If it's
realize that
online.
back then on the Wii, the Wii wasn't really made for patching and stuff, but Nintendo immediately fixed it as soon as they can.
hmm
Yeah, there
So-
was the famous there was the Metroid Other M glitch where you could
Yeah.
like not get this door to open, and the only way to get it fixed was by sending your Wii to Nintendo because they couldn't patch anything on the Wii, which sucked.
You know,
but that's
you know how it actually worked is that they put it on the Wii Shop. You could download it. It's basically a save file, and that's the save file that you have to use. That's how it basically went.
yeah, that's how they got around it.
Yeah,
But-
so that was you had to start the game over, but
yeah.
I would
remember
say
that
it was
part.
worth it because as long as you remembered what to do, so just go back and just do it all over again. That's basically it. And
Yeah, but that's few and far between. But they took care of
Sure.
the problem.
yeah, they
did.
took care of it.
And else, to give Sony credit, they did get free games after their thing was hacked a couple years ago. But
What about this time? Or the
yeah.
time before that?
They're half point of
now they just like fuck it. But Nintendo has
They're like,
Club
oh, you get
Nintendo.
5 days of PlayStation Plus free. Like,
Yeah,
you won't even feel that.
that would
Give me
make
2
no
months.
difference. So Nintendo has Club Nintendo with their rewards program. They had the Ambassador program with the 3DS, which I took advantage of.
Me too.
Early Wii U adopters had the 30-cent virtual console games for like 6-7 months. Took advantage of all that. And it's just the way that they treat you, like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. They're like, okay, this isn't quite a full title. We'll price it at $39.99 brand new. That's the Nintendo way when it comes to how they treat their customers and how they're fair and honest with what they do. So,
I mean, look at Mario Kart 8 DLC. The
Oh, yeah.
DLC, you can tell that it's so much different from the main game. Like, there's so much care and detail put in those new levels. And you can tell that when they give you DLC, they give you brand new content.
and at the price, you would expect Call of Duty, that would have been $50.
15 bucks. Yeah.
It'd have been 50 for both all the content that they're giving you for 12. So I mean, they just
Yeah, and we still have 8 courses coming in May now. I'm so psyched for that. I can't wait. Oh.
It's not over.
Yeah, and like people that buy enough Nintendo games and register, there was the awesome poster, Smash Brother posters for 700 coins, which I didn't have enough to get.
I got it.
I got them. Never
I
opened
missed
it.
them. I missed them.
They look
So,
awesome. I said opened them up, and it's just like maybe I'm missing it. I don't think Sony and Microsoft do those kind of things. I don't know, but
They don't, but they'll invite you to a theater to go watch E3.
They did have the PlayStation Experience, so I predict that was a testing ground, and they're going to try something at E3 this year.
Yeah, and I actually thought that was pretty cool. I'm probably the only guy who kind of likes Sony, and I thought that was pretty cool that they did that. They showed Uncharted 4 there. I thought that was amazing.
That was the only thing. Everything was lame, I thought.
I'm with you. I like Sony, but I'm not going to get to that. It's just things change.
I like Sony.
Sure.
I mean, I really loved the PlayStation 2 because there was just so many games on the PlayStation 2, and the PS3 had a lot of great games on it too. And I'm still using the PS3's PlayStation Store to download certain titles. Like I just got Suikoden 2 a couple of weeks ago. So I do really enjoy Sony's consoles. So I would say that I'm a Nintendo fan number one, and then Sony probably second. But mostly it's just because I like individual franchises on a Sony console. Like for example, they have the Persona series. They have even though I haven't played much of it, they have Uncharted. They have God of War, which even though I've said time and time again that God of War is like the same game 1 and 2, I still did enjoy the story aspect of it. With the gods and stuff like that. So and of course Final Fantasy, which originally started on Nintendo, ended up being migrated to Sony. Resident Evil games, yada yada, etc. There's a lot of franchises on a Sony platform, so that's why I primarily consider myself a Nintendo gamer, because they have Nintendo has amazing IPs. They have so many, and their games are amazing quality, 5-star, etc. Whereas Sony just has a couple of titles that I really want to play, and that'll be enough for me to get one of their consoles,
Yeah.
But I think that Sony and probably Microsoft to an extent, they're going to eventually encroach on Nintendo's system of bringing it directly to the fans, because let's face it, Nintendo has been revolutionary all throughout their company life cycle. They started with Nintendo Power, probably before any other game magazine was, really going. They did they took risks with the Virtual Boy. They took which was virtual reality. They took risks with the Wii, which ended up being a huge moneymaker for them. Nintendo's always been about taking risks and doing whatever it takes to evolve and ensure their company's survival. And that's what I really feel like that this whole Nintendo Direct and Treehouse thing is about. It's about getting ahead of the competition, getting a grasp of a new way of redefining the gaming industry, and Nintendo being the head of it and running it as they see fit. And obviously, eventually, Sony and Microsoft are probably going to jump in on it, because they've done that with everything, with motion controls, with whatever.
Everything.
So. Yeah.
You know why I'm saying it's not going to happen? It's not going to happen for the reasons that we listed earlier. They're not going to do that to the IGNs, to the Game Informers. Plus, they don't have enough first-party games.
That's true.
So they would need to showcase third-party games, which would, again, hurt Game Informer and GameStop.
No, you're right. You're
and they
right.
care about GameStop. So
Well, unless they start getting sponsored, and it's like this week's Sony Direct brought to you by IGN. And then it'll be that kind of crap.
And the thing is, it would be.
That would be the same crap.
It would be named Revolutionary. So,
yeah, Sony really doing a brand new thing we've never seen before.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what it feels like. I don't know if that's how it is, but it feels like to me every time Nintendo comes out with something amazing, the competition comes out with the same thing and you know says, oh, we've done it first, or you know we had this in the drawing board
Yeah,
first.
they get the respect. Put it like
Yeah.
that. Like, remember
So
when the move was awesome?
when what?
When the move was awesome
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for
PlayStation.
5 minutes.
5
Remember when
That's
minutes.
so much
remember
more
when
effort.
PlayStation Battle Royale was gonna be better than Smash Brothers
Oh God, never.
for 2 minutes?
They patched that a year later. If you didn't know, I guess there's no balancing whatsoever. And a year later, they put out like a 50 patch that proved 50 different things.
Huh.
And no one was playing the game, but they released it anyway. So interesting little fact.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like to build off of what you were saying there too, Mike. Like when it comes to how Nintendo does a lot of these things, it reminds me of the thing that we really quickly talked about before we started recording, where I brought up my concept where Nintendo is the only gaming company that is only a gaming company, and I think that that has forced them throughout their entire career to make very different decisions, you know, that are very much gamer centric. And so when I think about things like the Treehouse and you know, having live game demos that we know isn't running on a PC like you guys were saying, or doing the digital event for E3, it's like that's an example of the kind of decision that a gaming company only makes. We need to be honest with our fans and our gamers. Like we need to be completely transparent. We need to show them everything every step of the way. Having all this content in a game like Hyrule Warriors and Smash Brothers and like really kick-ass DLC like Mario Karts, that's a gamer-centric decision. They're not thinking about their bottom dollar. I mean, a little bit, but they're not thinking like the bottom dollar first. They're thinking,
Right.
what will our fans love? What will keep our fans loyal to us? What's good for the video game product we made? What makes it a better game for our gamers?
Exactly.
And those are the decisions that they make that the other guys don't do because they're also a software manufacturer and a PC manufacturer and a TV manufacturer. They've got all these different revenue streams. Nintendo
And
can't
it's
mess up
mostly
the
about
game.
revenue. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo, their bottom line first is we can't let us making money get in the way of our product. We have to make good products.
Yeah, perfectly
That-
said. Yeah.
Yeah, because the money we'll get from that won't be basically a fluke. Like those people will come back
Mm-hmm.
because we
Yep.
consistently keep giving them a great product.
I mean, like Nintendo gamers, like we're all good examples. Like we probably would never turn our backs on Nintendo because we know they would never do anything to make us that mad. But you got to believe that a lot of Sony and Microsoft fans, and yes, I do still enjoy those companies enough. Like I'm fans of them enough, but I'm not like diehard for either one. But you have to think that even the people who say that they're diehard, at any time at the flip of a hat would probably turn on them because those companies haven't fought for like a lifelong loyalty like Nintendo has done. And that's we kind of show we're the fruits of that because we stand by Nintendo because we know they stand by us.
You know, real quick, the fact of that is most Xbox 360 owners were PlayStation 2 owners.
Yes.
And they didn't own a PlayStation 3. They abandoned Sony and jumped on the Xbox train.
And it happened again.
Yeah, and now some went back to PlayStation, and then some still never went back to PlayStation. It's like they're diehard Xbox fans now. Whether it's because of Halo or something like Gears, they just like the brand. And that's the thing, too. Like, us Nintendo fans, we like Nintendo, but we like a lot more than Nintendo. We like Zelda, Mario, Metroid, F-Zero, Star Fox, Kirby. You know, those are the things that make up Nintendo. Now, a lot of times when you ask Sony fans or Xbox fans, what is it that you like?
Call of Duty.
Oh, I know, not even.
GTA.
I like when the logo goes woom Xbox. You know, I like what's his name, Kazurai, and you know, I like Sony. It's like, are you serious? Yeah, like the games could go, Crash Bandicoot could go, Jack and Daxter could go. I'm gonna stay here.
Mm-hmm. The only
I like
really
this controller from 1996.
I hate that controller, but the only thing they're loyal, really, the Sony fans have kind of latched on is to Naughty Dog, like that developer,
Yeah.
because that's all they have. Like that's the number
It's true.
one.
They are
studio.
great though. They are
Yeah,
one
they
of the
develop-
very best. But
Well, they also have Metal
Santa
Gear.
Monica.
But the fans I'm talking about, Naughty Dog is their number one thing when they bring it up when they're bringing up Sony or something. Now Naughty Dog is
And that's so new. That's like us being like retro studios only.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
such a new-
honestly, Naughty Dog is just the Nintendo of Sony. That's who they are. Like, they're the best developer that I think makes the best, most complete games. They're pushing the boundaries of games in their own way, different than how Nintendo does it.
Mhm.
And I think they have a lot of the same kinds of qualities that Nintendo does. They just make different kinds of games, but they're very much about
Yeah,
their.
Naughty Dog pushes like
They make like platforms.
cinematic games better than everybody else in the industry,
Mhm.
and a lot of people like that now. So they're the best at that.
And they made good games that were more traditional. Like Mike said, their earlier games are more platformer, action platformer, and they were good at those too. So they have a good track record.
It would
at
be
least.
awesome if they started doing stuff like that again. I would just freak out. That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
We
I
would
wish
get
I wish
excited.
it wasn't Last of Us and Uncharted.
Yeah.
Because even if people want to say, "Oh, this one is more lighthearted," it's like, yeah, they're pretty much like Uncharted could have easily been Last of Us because they already had like monsters in the first game.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it
love both of those series, but it's very true. It's
They
really
should have
true.
been a platformer. Because imagine what they do with visuals, and them actually say, you know what? We're gonna make our Mario for Sony. Because listen, the fact of the matter is, Knack ain't it,
No.
Nope.
and or Sly Cooper. You know, none of these guys. So it's like they could have did it, and it's not like they didn't have already a franchise that was pretty liked with Jack and Daxter.
And Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, which they killed. Well, they sold that, which was ridiculous.
Oh, that's right. Acclaim, I think, had it for a
Activision.
while.
has
Or
it now.
Activision, sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
So
The other thing that bothers me, too, is, like, why companies like that don't want to make games like those. Like, why aren't you inspired to make just a creative, fun, colorful platformer also?
Because it's not cool, bro.
Well, that's
well, they make
dumb.
Little
And
Big
look at-
Planet.
Look at Rare.
Little Big
Rare
Planet's
used
great.
to
I
make-
love Little Big Planet.
Rare used to make amazing, platformer titles with Donkey Kong and Banjo-Kazooie and Diddy Kong Racing and
Jet Force
Um,
Gemini.
Jet Force
the
Gemini,
best.
and
They had so
also,
many games.
yeah, I mean, Rare had some, Perfect Dark. Remember? They had
Mhm.
so many different, franchises under their belt, Rare.
And they did a lot on the
And then
NES.
Microsoft bought them, and they don't make nothing now.
You know why? Because people give a lot of credit to Rare. Everything Rare did was thanks to Nintendo because Nintendo's the one who let them make those games.
It's gotta be.
And Microsoft, you know what they let them make? A terrible Perfect Dark,
Yeah.
a game with pinatas, and
Cameo elements of power.
which
Did
that
that
was
count?
basically a game that Nintendo was like letting them make. That's on the box of my GameCube.
Oh, you're
Yep.
right.
On the back of it, that was one of the games that with Luigi's Mansion and Smash, and they got sold off by them. But besides that, it's been Connect Sports and Connect this and that, and every year they say, oh yeah, Rare's coming back this
Yeah,
year.
this year the big comeback for Rare this year, 2015.
And it's like
Yep.
it can't because the people
Can you
who
imagine?
were Rare aren't there.
No.
Rare
Can you
isn't
imagine if
Rare no more. It's
Microsoft-
pretty standard now.
Can you imagine if Microsoft got Donkey Kong? Because the Microsoft executives thought they had Donkey Kong when they walked into Rare's offices.
Yeah.
They're insane. That's ridiculous.
Well, they own a couple of the characters from
They own
some
the
of the
Kremlings,
games.
I think.
Something. They own something from Crash
K-Rool and the
Bandicoot.
Kremlings, yeah.
Not Crash Bandicoot. Banjo Kazooie they own, and there was a few characters they created in Donkey Kong universe, I believe. I'm not
Wow,
mistaken.
that's nuts.
K-Rule, they can keep him because I never
Yeah,
liked.
he was an idiot. So we got.
Oh, man, I love the Kremlings from the Donkey Kong Country series. I wish
I like the
Nintendo
new-
could get them back.
I like the new the penguins and stuff. Whatever. I don't know what they're called, but
I like the Tiki Tribe. I just like the new stuff.
So I got some questions here that we'll go through
Sweet.
pretty quick. So Mario Walker, this one's a pretty good question. I don't know. None of us are going to know the answer, but since it's 2015, will Nintendo celebrate the NES's 30th anniversary? Since the NES made a huge impact on gaming in North America, does anybody think? I think they should. I don't know if they will.
Well, they
They
came out with that
might.
3DS line.
It wasn't just North America,
year.
it was all over the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
think
it actually started in New York, which was amazing. New York was the one town they decided to bring the NES to try it out. And once it was a success there, then it just spread like wildfire over all of North America.
Unlike the
times.
successful Nintendo World Store, they're not letting that spread.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how they would celebrate it. I mean, they can't bring out like a new Metroid, a new Mario, a new
What if
Zelda,
they
a new
did,
this
like,
and new that. Like they'd have to do like maybe like a discount on all the NES games on the Virtual
NES
Console or something.
remix.
Do
For,
what
And NES
they,
Remix, they've already done that. So
do what the
Yeah.
PlayStation did and do a limited edition Wii U that's designed like a NES or at least color scheme.
yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I mean, they
Well,
should
we
do
won't be able to
something.
They
enjoy
did
it.
that with the 3DS already, though. They
Yeah,
already
but
made a NES.
a little more intricate than just like a paint job on it, like something special.
Maybe you have to put the CD in the system and then blow on it and then push it down really hard.
Yeah,
That would work.
but I just think they should definitely do a little during E3 or something, do some kind of retrospect or something. That would be cool.
They should. It's a good question, and they definitely should do something.
the
It's just
best
hard to
way-
know what they would do.
I
Oh,
got it.
how about a
They show-
symphony?
How,
Like,
how, how about if
Right.
they show the opening of the new Zelda game, and it literally starts with you in the middle of the field,
Yeah.
and just like
And there's
that.
a little cave in front of you.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, little cave, get a sword, and you go. And it's like, yeah, happy, 30 years.
That would
That'd
be
be
enough.
awesome.
I would lose my mind and crap in my pants. That would
I'll be so happy. No tutorial Zelda game, yay!
The hair on the back of my neck would stand up in my arms. I'd be getting chills. Just
Yep.
like you were talking about the orchestrated music, I think Mega was during the Legend of Zelda Symphony. Like first time I heard that, like my whole body was just like chills. Like it was amazing.
There's some
So-
really great YouTube videos you can find of that for people who are like in the front row who
Mhm.
took it's like so much more powerful because the music is like so much louder and you can hear people getting excited and screaming about how awesome it is. Like those are I would recommend you look them up. They're a lot of
Yeah.
fun. They're pretty cool.
And this question ties into the one we just answered from Cable Tie 7. Do you think Nintendo will do anything special to celebrate Mario's 30th anniversary? You got Mario
Mario
Maker
Maker.
coming
I
out.
was in Mario Maker, that's enough.
There's going to be something, though. I think there's going to be some kind of... You get pre-order Mario Maker, maybe you get like a
Free
CD
Mario?
or something.
Maybe
I
an
think they will.
announcement of the next one, that would be
Because
cool.
they did a few things for the Zelda. Like they had the 25th anniversary, was it? That they had
Mhm.
Skyward
Skyward
Sword.
Sword and stuff.
I
So
love what they did for Metroids. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's next year. That's going to be a good year. Something good's coming.
Well, no,
I
wasn't
believe
it like the 25th last year?
And,
No,
also
Metroid
Hyrule
is 30
Historia.
years.
Metroid was 80.
86 in Japan, 87 in the States.
And they,
So
they
next
also
year-
had Hyrule Historia with the 25th anniversary.
Yep.
You know, that.
Yes.
They should make a Metroid Historia.
I agree.
There's people that played Metroid Prime. I know a guy, and he never stopped to like scan things, so he didn't get any of like the story.
What? That's crazy.
Like
That's-
And the
Oh, that's-
lore and like
the lore, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's another thing that I really love about Nintendo is that all the Nintendo game franchises have like a timeline. To me, I just love that. I love knowing that the Metroid Prime games take place in like the beginning, or
yeah.
something
Yeah,
like that.
In
And
between
the original
2
games
and
or towards the end or whatever. That I love. I just think that's the coolest. It's like putting a puzzle together, from like the past and the present and the future. It's just like, oh, it's so cool.
Every
Like,
Metroid Historia is going to be missing a couple pages or other ends. No, just kidding.
I knew you were going to slam it. I'm actually the gigantic Metroid fan that does like a lot about that game, but I knew you were going to slam it. That's
I'm
Yeah,
the-
I had to
I'm
throw a jab in there.
I'm the fake Metroid fan who's never played Other M, so
you
Well,
should try it.
play it. I do think everybody should play it.
I know.
I bet there's a lot, actually, Terminator Juice. I bet there's a lot you'd like about it, because as far as like just an action game, it's actually a really good action game, and it
Yeah.
looks pretty good for being a Wii game too.
I
It's
just
got really
wish-
good graphics.
I don't want to use that little D-pad. That's my thumb gets so sore using that damn thing.
It's not so bad. You have to watch. Okay, a couple weeks ago, I put up 4 parts of a Metroid Other M playthrough where I played the first couple hours just to kind of talk about it, because it's like, okay, everyone hates this game, and I'm a Metroid fan that doesn't hate this game, even though it's not the best. It's okay. And one of the things I talked about was that exact thing, because when that game came out, and Red Knight, I would like to hear you talk about it too, because I know you're a Metroid fan and you hate Other M. So I'm curious. Okay, so like when that game came out, people said, "Oh, like it's weird not being able to use an analog stick. It'd be so much better." Blah blah blah, which is actually true. That game would
but-
be better with an analog stick. However, what I think a lot of people didn't really get to figure out with how that game was put together is you're still always moving on an X, Y axis plane, a left and right, up and down, completely vertical plane. So the camera moves around a lot, but if you hold one direction, Samus doesn't shift as the camera moves because you're literally still moving the same direction.
Yeah, she's
So-
always like on her path, like correctly.
She is. So like that's what you kind of don't really need to go diagonal in that game as much as you want to. You want to think when you look at it because it is still a 3D perspective and there's all sorts of places to go. And if you kind of adjust to that, you won't be hurting yourself so much using the D-pad because it is a problem. And like I said, that game should have had an analog stick at the end of the day. I agree. But it's not quite as bad as I think a lot of people thought it was. So if you ever play it, I would recommend trying to figure that part out. That's my story. I'm done.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Mega a question since someone directed one just to him. Revolution.
Awesome.
This is a question for Mega. What would you do if Kingdom Hearts 3 was the next Duke Nukem Forever in terms of it being highly anticipated but also highly disappointing?
That's I have no fear in that because it's not made by the people who made that tragedy, so I'm okay with it.
But how disappointed would you be if it turned out to be an average game or below average?
I mean, I would say the same thing because I have said bad things about Kingdom Hearts before. Like, Recoded was really bad. I have to say it was really 358 was
money making. That's why.
Yeah, 358 was really easy. I think the only thing from Recoded though was like the secret ending that you really needed. That's about it. But it to have it where Kingdom Hearts 3 is gonna be that way, and if it does, I would be disappointed because this is a game that many people have been waiting for, many KH fans, and it would just be such a disappointment if they treat it the same way as Duke Nukem. And
I
at
think
that
that's
point,
pretty unlikely.
yeah, and it's really unlikely because it's not made by that stupid studio.
And then they had a
Gearbox.
Yeah, they had a bunch of like delays, and that game was like canned and then brought back to life multiple times. But
Hey Mega, I have a quick question. I'm curious. How do you pronounce that DS Kingdom Hearts game, the 358 you said? How do you say that?
Kingdom Hearts 358/2 days.
Okay, so it's just /2.
Yeah, /2 because if you put like what is that thing again? Like a divide sign. That's
Yeah.
what 358 divide sign 2.
I thought it was like over 2, so I was like, I think it's 358/2, but that sounds dumb too, so I didn't know. I
just say slash. I just say slash because it's there you go.
Yeah, it's quick, easier to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right,
But yeah.
I actually sold that game. I had that game. I got rid of it. The Kingdom Hearts game, but on the DS one. But yeah. So I just what was I gonna say now? I just lost my train of thought.
Was it about Kingdom Hearts?
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, Mega. Do you think that the new Kingdom Hearts will have the Marvel universe and the Star Wars universe in it, or are we gonna have to wait for another one after 3?
I would say I wouldn't like that. Here's one reason. It's okay if they save it because this is going to be the end of the saga and they're going to create another one. So I would say save that for the next saga, Kingdom Hearts 4 or whatever. This one, they should really implement Pixar. All right, that's what they have to implement is Pixar. Like put Incredibles, put
Wall-E.
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 Wall-E. Put Toy Story. Toy Story would make a lot of sense. Have it where Lotso has control of the Heartless or something like that. It would make a lot of sense there. As much as I would love to see a lightsaber Keyblade, I would just say save it for the next one.
Yeah.
I just save those two for the next one because right now, use your Pixar except for Frozen. Use all your Pixar and Tangled. Use all your Pixar ones right there. Put Monsters Inc. You can have some nice cool monster outfit for Sora, something like that. Put all these Pixar movies except for those two I listed to.
Well, those aren't Pixar. Those are just Disney animation.
Disney animation. Okay,
I knew I was going to regret asking that question.
Look at what you did.
Put us in the scene with Nemo.
Nemo, I wouldn't really put that there. I would say more of just putting like Incredibles, Wall-E, Toy Story, or what's it called? Monsters Inc. I would say put those in there.
Go the extra mile. Ice Age. Go all that crap.
That's not.
Ice Age.
That's
Ice
DreamWorks. That's
Yeah.
DreamWorks. Yeah.
Be honest, you wish it
Oh,
was
okay.
exclusive to Nintendo so it could have all the Mario characters in.
You see,
I wish I had every character ever.
That's what I'm saying,
in a
though.
cartoon.
Like, it's really good that they've got Marvel and Star Wars
Wars.
Yeah.
now, because literally the idea of Kingdom Hearts being that there's like an infinite amount of worlds, right? Like, so now they really have so many choices that they can actually show us. You know how many characters there are in the Marvel universe?
I think if they're smart, what they would do is actually just make like a Kingdom Hearts Marvel game only, and then a Kingdom Hearts Star Wars game only. Because that would make so much more money for them. They could actually like split it up into all these different adventures, and I would be cool with that. Like if it's just Kingdom Hearts and Marvel for one huge game, that's enough to cover one game. And same with Star Wars, so that would be kind of cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of true with Marvel, but they're in the same universe.
Yeah.
So they really be going to worlds. They would be going to like Africa and America and stuff like that.
America.
So
Marvel
yeah,
America.
America.
I would love to see a different art style, though. Like, if they did do, like, just a Marvel Kingdom Hearts or just a Star Wars
They
Kingdom Hearts.
actually do this where, because they did it with, and this is the last thing, don't worry, Terminator. Basically, where in Pirates of the Caribbean, that world, the world of Pirates Caribbean, they made it where they had the style of the characters for Pirates of the Caribbean. They had them in like some kind of real world looking kind of art style, while they still had
need another cartoon game to become realistic and generic.
and for Sora, Donald, and Goofy, they stayed the same. They stayed the same, except it was a little bit darker. That's about it. Like the color tone or the
Well,
light.
they also have Disney Infinity that has a lot of those characters. You guys are bringing up.
I don't think they would use Disney Infinity because that's kind of its own thing.
I'm just saying, a lot of the characters you guys are hoping to meet Kingdom Hearts, they're using and getting extra money for figurines that you have to buy to play those characters. So,
heck no.
Teresa Hammond says it's not slash, it's over. You say the name.
I was right. Haha.
Dude, I say slash. I don't know. I don't see how it's over. But
well, you're just an 18-year-old. You don't know.
That's a fraction.
what you talking about?
You're just a kid.
I just came out of school. Thank you very much.
I got a question for Rob. I got rid of it, but it was up today. Nintendo they didn't renew the Virtual Console trademark, and someone asked. I think it was Tony Karan. What our thoughts were on that. Someone asked that to you, that Nintendo they didn't renew the Virtual Console trademark.
Yeah, I saw, while I was at work, I checked and saw just a quick blurb about that happened, and it's weird because I think at first you want to go negative, like, oh god, what does this mean? It's all bad, Nintendo's screwing up, the Virtual Console's going away. My hope, and what I also really think it is it's going to be nothing more than they're just going to go with a different name or stick with the
I have new
eShop.
news on that.
Oh, what's up? What is it?
Supposedly it's just for print, I guess for paper. I don't know what that means. So I guess they still own it. I guess they're just not. But I mean, when do you ever see Virtual Console written on anything?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's interesting because what's always bothered me is that when you're on the eShop, like for a while, until recently, it was really hard to find Virtual Console games. Like I just wanted to find all the Super Nintendo games or just all the games together. And because there wasn't a Virtual Console button or a way to go right to that always bugged me. You had to
There is now, isn't there?
And there's an NES, a Super NES, and a Game Boy Advance button, which is great. But it's now they don't really need, I guess, the name Virtual Console. So it's weird, but I don't really think it's going to be a bad thing. They might just change the name of it.
So basically, I could write a book and I can call it Virtual Console.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Your dream can be realized.
So here's a question. I think Red Knight's best suited to answer this. From Cable Tie 7. Do you prefer the 2D Mario series or the Donkey Kong Country series?
Wow. Just
That's
ask
tough.
me to choose between my favorite children.
The smarter one.
I know right away.
I like the one with the jumping. No, but seriously, if we have to go, obviously with the retro versus the new Super Mario Brothers, even though I do love the new Super Mario Brothers games, and I'll defend them, I'll defend the bops all day long, but I'm gonna have to go with the Donkey Kongs. Because I never was much of a fan of the original trilogy. I liked them enough, but not as much as I like the new ones. So
yeah, I like New Super Mario Brothers U is my favorite 2D Mario game, followed by Super Mario World. Everyone loves Super Mario Bros. 3, and it's a good game. I just felt like it was, I don't know, the levels were really short, and it just didn't grab me like it did everybody else. So, but I still say I'd rather have, as Retro's making it, I'd rather have Donkey Kong Country over 2D Mario.
Is that the question? Is specifically Donkey Kong Country, like all those games?
Donkey Kong Country and 2D Mario. 3D Mario is greater than Donkey Kong Country in my mind.
When you say 2D Mario, you mean 2D Mario as in
platformers.
Like on the Super Nintendo?
I think just period.
New Super Mario Brothers U, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, Super Mario World.
Yo, I mean, that's totally different. Super Mario Brothers World is totally different from the New Super Mario Brothers U.
I know, but it's a 2D
It's
Mario
still a 2D Mario game, though, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's a hard question.
I really love the old school Donkey Kong Country games on the Super Nintendo. I don't know if it's nostalgia or what it is, but I've had so much fun with those games. You know, hours and hours of amazing platformers, and you know, the graphics, the way they look, the art style. It was an amazing experience for me as a kid. So, as far as the new Super Mario Brothers U series, like I would say, no way that doesn't come close to old school Donkey Kong Country. I would even argue that Donkey Kong Country is better than the new Donkey Kong from Retro. That's just how I feel. I love the old one.
Blasphemy.
I totally agree. Even though I love
go
the
back
retro
and play
stuff.
them, and then
Yeah, go back. I recently played them, and they just do not hold a candle.
Like I said, it might be nostalgia.
yeah,
That's
you
just how
get
I
one
feel.
hit, you're dead. I mean,
Yeah.
No, it's the sound, that clunk that retro games make. I just love it. Like it's addicting. It's crazy. But I mean,
It's tough though. Like those old games were so freaking revolutionary though for their time.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. No one had ever seen graphics like that. And I remember there was like Nintendo Power was coming with like a pack-in like video cassette or something that had a preview of Donkey Kong Country, and they said it's like the most watched thing in history. And then like the first game is I think is the best-selling Super Nintendo game of all time. I could be wrong,
It's right up there.
but I'm pretty I think it's number one. So.
You remember the snow level when the layers of different snow would fall in different directions?
Yeah.
I mean, that was cool, but
The underwater levels, the toxic water, the toxic pond.
Oh, yeah. They were hard.
It's good stuff.
But Tropical Freeze, in my opinion, is the best 2D platformer, period. So
I've heard you say that. I was like, I really thought about that when you said that on one of your podcasts like a couple months ago, and I was like, I don't know. I thought about that for a while, and I had to kind of get my head around it. I don't agree, and I do love like 2D platforming and just platformers in general is definitely my favorite genre. But even though I don't agree, I would definitely hold it pretty high up there. I also preferred the Wii Donkey Kong Country to Tropical Freeze, though. So that's just me. They're all great. I mean, they're all great.
Yeah, I love that one too.
I just thought Tropical Freeze.
I love that one.
I think they perfected
You can't
it.
choose.
But it's like picking a 10 versus a 10. They're both 10. So.
It's
Yeah.
true. There's no wrong answer. Yeah.
Mario
Let's just say
games,
you
Donkey
just
Kong
can't-
games, they're all 10s in my book. Like,
Let's just say you just can't choose because they're all freaking great. That you just can't, because when you play into those platformers, you just into it. So they're all good, as long as they keep making you come back. That's fine.
You know what? Donkey Kong wins because Donkey Kong is the reason we have Mario.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Thank God he kidnapped Pauline.
Yep.
Oh man, and if most of you don't know who Pauline is, well, you look it up.
Look it up.
actually,
Well, there's a trophy.
that Mario captured Donkey Kong first and trained him in a circus.
True. Yeah. Mario's like the bad guy, kind of.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Mario was the bad guy. That's
Go watch
why,
Game Theory. It's good.
dude. Mario
is
is evil. He's evil.
And Rosalina's Mario's mom or something, right?
He's evil.
What?
No, I didn't.
No.
Oh my God!
No.
I did not go by that. I did not go even by. I didn't even watch his Mario is evil thing. But I do believe Mario is evil either way. He
You
is
have
actually.
to watch the Mario's evil one.
Look at him. He
Yeah,
kills. Every time he stumps on a Goomba, he's like, woohoo! Like, what the
Yeah,
frick?
he loves killing things. So
And every block in the mushroom kingdom.
Animals like lesser than us. Just throwing Yoshi into pits every day.
I know.
It's normal.
He's like, it's
See-
okay. Another one will show up in a couple seconds.
Did you see that funny during the Smosh Games interview with Miyamoto where they asked him what character he'd want to be and they said Yoshi and they're like, He's like, oh, we could ride around on you and then jump off you and make you fall into a pit. And everyone started laughing. It was pretty funny. Teresa Hammond, she don't have any other questions. This one's kind of tough, and I don't want it to be super long, but any predictions for Wave 4 Amiibo? I know, Red, you just put out an Amiibo video. I seen it.
I'm just waiting for Zero Suit Samus, and I think it's coming soon.
That's what I'm waiting for.
It's got to be coming soon.
I'm waiting for Mega Man.
The thing is, they have to. All right, because I explained this many times. They have to make sure they at least get a bunch there of a supply to at least get to there. Because Wave 4, I'm really excited for Wave 4 because that's where more characters coming in. All right, more characters that many.
As long as you can get them.
Yeah, as long as you can get them, that's the thing. And people are like, "Oh, well, you should go there. You should be there first, then, if you want them so bad." But the thing is, that shouldn't happen. You know?
Yeah,
I should be able to go inside the store and go in and be like, "Yes, could I get a?" Yeah, I shouldn't have to go out and camp out just for a little $13 figure. You know, it's really hopeless.
I feel like I think Bowser's probably going to come pretty soon too.
Yeah, Bowser's in Wave 3. Yeah, Bowser.
I really want to get a baby Bowser too, or Bowser Jr. I should say, because Bowser Jr. is an awesome character.
Yeah, you like spamming his little forward B.
Like many.
Wario, I bet we'll get Wario.
There's many in Wave 4 that I'm hoping comes in, which is basically, let's say, Lucina, Palutena, and Pac-Man, and
They
also
gotta have Palutena, I would think.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And let me see.
I've never seen Captain Falcon or Pit.
To celebrate.
Let me ask you something. Like, do you guys feel like you have to buy? You feel like you have to buy the amiibos now when they come out because you never know how expensive.
I'm only buying the ones that I want. That's all I'm doing.
I'm not like those people that buy like 5 of them and then like sell them 100 because I like to keep these. That's what I do. I love to collect what I want, and that's basically what I want to collect is the ones which amiibos that I want. You know, right now I only have 4 because those are the 4 that I feel like I'm gonna want to have forever. So then when more come in that I want that have been my characters, that's what I go for.
Do you open them or do you keep them in the box?
The way all right, I'm not gonna spend all day. I'll tell you after because I don't want to spend all day.
All right, Red was saying something. I'm trying to say something there.
Yeah.
I was saying that for the NES 30th anniversary, they can have a NES amiibo.
Oh yeah.
No, that like an actual like the system, you mean?
Yeah, like the actual system.
Is that what you're guessing? I thought you were reading
that would
the
be
article.
cool.
I thought you were reading the article. I was like,
no, I don't know what they can do.
They can do a Rob the Robot one.
You know what? No.
Yeah, that would be
They should make a developer amiibo set.
Rob, I guess he is coming, so.
Let's get Miyamoto. Let's get Miyamoto, Reggie, Iwata.
They should so do that. They should so do that.
I have an idea.
Iwata and Reggie fighting.
I have an idea what those NES ones and Wii U ones and all this stuff could do is that they should implement themes, right? And many, there's many more I can think of, but this is just one. Where basically if you put the amiibo on the gamepad, it automatically unlocks the theme and it shows up just like that. Like,
yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
But of course,
you have themes alone.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm hoping they implement someday, which I hopefully they will. But yeah, that's one idea.
Check this out. The anniversary amiibo will be Reggie, Iwata, Miyamoto, Sakurai. I don't know if you want to add anybody else. But,
Bill Trinan.
Bill Trinan. There you go. Right. So you get the amiibo, you scan them, and you get customized Mii characters.
Ooh, that's a good question.
With their own unique moves, not in the Smash Bros. Game. Just
that
like
would be cool.
moves they can do.
Oh, also Olimar. I bet we'll get Olimar pretty soon. So.
Olimar is going to look nice.
Yeah, he'll look great.
All right, so we got 5 of us here. Cable Tie 7. He can't decide which version of the new 3DS to get, the standard or the XL. So we're going to make the decision. It'll be best out of 5. So Mike says XL. I say standard.
XL.
Okay.
XL.
Oh, that's 3.
Wait, he means the new 3DS.
Which, yeah, the new 3DS or the new 3DS XL.
Okay. I'll put it this way. If you like a bigger screen, like most of us here, get the XL.
If you want plates, get the standard.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the argument for the small one? Like,
is that the faceplate?
You have to wait.
Yeah.
And the original, it's actually 1.4 times bigger screen than the OG 3DS. So
so it is a little bit bigger still.
It's big, yeah. It's not quite XL, but
Get the
it's
XL. Just go XL.
Okay.
Yeah, get the XL because
there you go.
Yeah.
Gray, you have to get, or Grayson, you have to get the XL because you asked, and that was our.
We've committed you to $50 more.
I mean, what is the point of not getting the XL? I mean, do you really want to spend all that money and say, oh man, for $50 more, I could have had a way bigger screen? I mean,
I honestly like the sharpness of the standard screen over the large.
That's true. That's actually a really good point. It is
It's
clearer.
The native resolution, the XL just blows it up. It's like zooming in on a picture, and it gets all pixelated. So the new 3DS standard size is 1.4 times or 1.35 times bigger than the original OG 3DS. So you're getting a bigger screen than it had originally. Plus, you're getting a faceplates you can remove.
And it's cheaper, you know.
And if the ambassador ones, if I get an offer, I'm getting that sucker. That white one is amazing.
Well, actually, if you think about it, the ambassador ones are not really special. It's only the faceplates that are special. Because remember, those
exactly,
are
but you can't. You won't be able to.
You can take them off. Yeah, you can take them off.
Somebody could sell you the faceplate if they wanted to, but it does come with a few other things. So for the value, it seemed like a good deal too. If you're one of the few that get to chosen if they do it in the U.S. So we'll do a couple more questions here. Shadow Hero 43. What games should Nintendo remake in HD?
Oh my god, there's too many, dude.
I know.
Yeah. F-Zero, number one on my list. F-Zero.
Okay.
So wait, now are we talking about making a newer version of an older game, or taking the original game, like Wind Waker style?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a couple obvious answers, like the two Galaxy games, all three Metroid Prime games.
Metroid Prime.
Mario Sunshine.
And Mario Sunshine would be nice, and also I think both Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword.
Yes.
Those would be great.
There's too many.
Skyward Sword. You
Metroid
could do that.
Metroid Primes, dude. Just put that there.
Oh my god.
And added multiplayer. Heck yeah.
They would already be out if it was Sony. All those games would have been remastered already.
Yeah, that would have been the entire library for the first year.
I think Sunshine, if they could improve, because I had some frame rate and control issues. If they improve that, there was some tedious. Some of the stars were kind of annoying. Yeah, but it would be nice if they could refine that game. I might give it a second chance.
That's a great game, man. That'd be really cool if they did that.
But
it's underrated. It's very underrated.
Finding those frickin' blue coins and trade them in for stars to get 120, that was retarded.
Yeah, also probably the hardest Mario game I've ever played was Sunshine.
Yeah. And that final boss was so like it was 15 frames a second at times. It was so terrible.
I just hated getting to him with the lava.
Yeah.
That stupid boat.
That's the only Mario game which I only beat one time. Like I never went back and played that boss again.
Yeah, me neither. I actually beat it once. That's it.
Actually, Mario 64 would kind of be cool if they could do something with that.
It would take a lot more work.
It would.
They remade that game too many times.
Yeah, they did it for the 3DS. Or no, the DS, sorry. The original DS, they did that. So.
Yeah.
It seems like they have a pattern now where they release a new Zelda game and then next time they release a remake and then do a handheld with it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
smart.
Yeah, it is really smart.
I think Majora's Mask was a good choice because not a lot of people bought it. It was the lowest selling 3D Zelda game, console game.
Yeah, and, even though it has a really strong following too.
It does, but there's a lot of people that didn't play it, and I don't think I want to play it again.
Majora's Mask was really hard. It had a lot of hard dungeons.
I really had to cheat and look how to get the masks and stuff. I couldn't figure a lot of that stuff out, so.
I thought it was pretty sweet.
But I gotta say, I did take a 10-year break in between and tried to pick up in the middle. So it was. I finally tried finishing it, and I did a couple years ago. And my save file was so old that I couldn't remember where I was, so I had to look up a lot of stuff.
Yikes. Yeah. The other thing too, when it comes to especially if we get Wii games that would get remade, Twilight Princess and the Galaxy games, the difference between what's happened with the other systems is. The PS3 and 360 games that got remade were already in HD, but when you're remaking a Wii game, that game was in standard definition, so I think you get a larger benefit by upscaling them to work on the Wii U now than you did with last year's games on the PS3.
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. That's huge.
And I wouldn't want to go any further than the GameCube because then they gotta Mario 64. They have to really redo a lot of
It's
like
true.
the character models and stuff. So
I want
GameCube,
to do Fortune Street. I loved Fortune Street.
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of that.
It's a board game with Nintendo characters and Dragon Quest characters, and
That's weird.
basically it's kind of like Monopoly, like not Monopoly.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
like
that
stocks. You buy stocks and you sell property, and
So you're the only one asking.
it's an amazing tactical board game, and like
that remastered.
it was online on the Wii. You could play
Stock
with,
trading in HD.
no, listen, you could play with no. I'll tell you why, because now the Wii has been disconnected from online.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't play it online anymore unless some kind of fan project is doing something or whatever with it, and however they do that now. But
Yeah, that's true.
like if it came back on the Wii U, then I could play it again with people around the world. I used to do that on the Wii. You can actually play with people all over the world. With this
That's
game.
true.
It's so
That'd be
good.
cool. Yeah.
I think
You guys should check it out. Like it was fun. It was.
I'd
really
rather.
fun.
I think honestly, I'd rather see him do a GameCube game just because I haven't played a GameCube game in a long time. I think it would feel more fresh than Skyward
Metroid Prime
Sword.
trilogy counts.
Yeah,
Yes, it does.
I
Yes,
would
it
love
does.
to play Metroid Prime again with
In
like
HD. Oh,
in
man.
HD with pointer controls or the gamepad for scanning. That.
Oh, that'd be amazing. We can
So,
dream. Also,
just-
Eternal Darkness for anyone who never played that game.
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah, that's good.
amazing.
Quinn.
I don't know who owns the rights. I think Nintendo still owns the IP, but
That property, maybe. I don't know.
That
Also,
guy's
the
a-
Resident Evil
yeah.
remake. Oh wait.
There was that 14 frames a
Sorry,
second.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Like, that's so funny. Like, I've been saying this since they announced that. That was a GameCube game. The Wii U is the closest in architecture to the GameCube, and it's the only system they didn't port it to.
I'm so upset about
That
it.
never made sense. And
Like,
then
I'll still get to play it, but that game blew my. And I had already played the original Resident Evil on the PlayStation way back in the day, but that remake was the greatest thing I'd ever done, and we won't get it on the Wii U. It's so
there
stupid.
was a video that just came out running on the PS4. It was at like 16 frames a second.
Yeah, I think it's only at 720p. I could be wrong, but I
So-
think I heard that those are only running at 720.
It sounds like they're not optimizing it. I would stay away from it, but we were
Yeah.
talking earlier about people jumping ship from PlayStation to Xbox, and Mario Walker makes a good point. Like, Sony fans act like they're so loyal, but he says you rarely find guys who've been with Sony from the PS1 through the PS4, like, without jumping ship, which is a good.
It's true.
Kind
It's
of a
exactly what
point.
Red Knight said. It's really true.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll do one more question, and then we'll wrap this up. It could be. I think we can just keep it short. You don't have to get too much in depth. The rumor about the Wii U successor coming in 2016, we know it's not going to happen. But he asked, would you be annoyed? This is the Magnum 924 if they released the Wii U successor in 2016. I think the question is, how much would you be annoyed? if they
I would
released
be
it?
annoyed very much, actually, because it's only been about 3 years now. We're in the third year, I would say.
We're in the third year. Yeah.
I mean,
It'd be,
yeah,
it'd be
we're in the
4
third year.
years.
2014 was the real year that the Wii U started. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it was released before that. Like, 2014 was the year where it actually felt like it was, a legitimate, strong console, where it started getting great games. So,
Yeah, I would.
they need to give us at least another 4 years, I think.
I think 2017 would be the earliest I'd be
I
comfortable
think
with that,
2017 is when it should launch.
because that's
Yeah.
5 years, and
Yep.
that's,
Yep.
they waited a year too long with the Wii. That last year, 2012, between
Say 2018.
It should
I-
launch with a 3D Mario, a
yeah,
Metroid Prime.
I just feel
Launch
like I feel like annoyed. It just isn't like the right word that I would use. I would be
upset.
confused and disappointed. That's more what it would be. I wouldn't really be annoyed. I'd be like, well, I guess I'll just go buy this damn thing, and then I would, and it would probably be awesome.
I wouldn't actually buy it. I would actually say
I
no.
wouldn't. No, even
Yeah,
with that
I would
3D
say-
Mario.
Because it's
Well, I
like
would buy it. I would totally buy it. I admit it right now. I'd buy it.
It's kind of like the new 3DS thing. I mean, you guys are going to buy it. I kind of don't want to buy the
no,
new
it's a new console though. Like when you buy a console, you know it's not a handheld. Well, at least in Nintendo, they don't do slims, or until
They did a
it's
Wii Mini.
done. Yeah, I know, but it's when it's already done, pretty much.
Yeah,
and they did a Super NES kind of
Yeah, and then that was when it was pretty much done.
Well, if they said that, every game from the Wii and the Wii U will work on the new console, and it's going to be like, so much more amazing, like PS4 specs or whatever, then I would buy it. You know.
And if it had a 3D Mario at launch, I think I'd probably get
I
something.
would.
I'm pretty
Or
sure we
Zelda
would
one.
all buy that
Yeah.
thing.
No,
I would not. The thing is, I
would
just.
be a drought again, a year drought. So I would just wait a year.
I just
As much
would
as it
not.
would pain me, I would just wait.
I don't know. I just would be so disappointed because you just pulled the Sega on me. Honestly,
Yeah.
that is a Sega. That is
Well,
a Sega.
actually,
Well, that's why they
Xbox did
won't
that.
do it. They're not going to do it.
Xbox
You know?
360 came out 4 years after the original, the Xbox Uno.
That's
So,
true.
and that worked
Xbox
out.
Uno. Yeah.
You want to know why I tell many people that I would say this is going to last longer than any other Nintendo console? Because this is, first of all, their strongest console that they've made, right?
Mhm.
And you can do so much with it. And even Iwata stated himself, we wanted to put so much, but of course the heads of Nintendo were like, no, you cannot do this. We must be traditional, which is stupid. It's okay to keep traditions, but you have to change it up once in a while. And this is their first system where they can add patches, where they can add add-on content, where they can add a lot more features and a lot more stuff. So this isn't really the console like the Wii, where okay, this is here and that's about it. Like, all right, it plays your games. It's not a GameCube where it just plays games. It's an actual like big-on system where it can do much more. So many people are saying, oh, well, it's only gonna last like 5 years, 6 years. I would say around 8 years. I'm gonna be honest, because mostly I would say most of their big titles that they're really working on are not out yet, and they definitely have more on the plate than it is now. Right now, we're seeing a bunch of games that are starting to come out this year, which is about to be the biggest whole lot of games that we're about to get. But
If I was,
everybody's
if I was
missing the fact that
Go ahead.
um, everybody's missing the fact that this is not a GameCube or a Wii. This is all right. Yes, it has Wii in the name, but still, it's basically a Wii U. It's new. It's a new system. It's a new type of kind of way of how the system is. And it can do so much more. So it's not just like a GameCube where it just plays games and you don't do barely anything else. It does more than just that. So we can expect more game ideas, more stuff like that. And
But
that's why
it's selling so
really
bad
No.
that it's only right that they actually make a system by 2017. I just think next year would be too early.
No,
Yeah,
in 2017,
let me
I just
tell
don't
you
know.
why it's not.
I just want to say, like, if I
And the
was
thing is-
All right, let
if I
Mike
was
go.
Nintendo, I would make it my priority to make sure that, like, all of our franchises would be presented on one console. So, like, I would get the F-Zeros out there, the Star Foxes, the Kirbys, the Yoshis, the Marios, the Zelda, as much franchises I could get on that console, so that it can appeal to all gamers in the fan base, and also to say, like, we're going to give you everything that we've got, so that
But they will
so that
have.
it feels like when you come out with a new console, it feels like the old one has been through completion. That you feel satisfied with it. You don't feel
It's
like
just-
you were chipped out.
It's
Of
But
it.
just
at the end of
honestly.
At the end of this year, they'll have all those, pretty much all their franchises minus F-Zero will have been released.
Metroid. One of a Metroid.
We still
Metroid will be
haven't got all of it.
2016, and then 2017, the new system. I think by 2016 they'll have every single one of their IPs will have a form.
I think so,
a
yeah.
version.
If
on
we
the
do
Wii
get
U.
F-Zero next year and a Metroid, then we pretty much, I think, will.
The thing
Well, I
is, though,
hope so.
the problem with Nintendo is they sometimes like to go first, and that's the wrong idea. Because yes, they can make a powerful system that is on par with PS4, but that would make them actually less powerful if you think about it. If you're going by power, because then when the PS5, or if they even plan on doing, it would actually be better than what that system is, and Nintendo would be, of course, the first ones to come out. But remember, it's always when you're last. You do better, actually, if you're last, because you
Well,
get to
wasn't
have
the
more
case with
time.
Wii?
You
Yeah,
get to
or
have-
the PS2.
well, the Wii was
Wii
kind
came
of
out
a
last.
Yeah, Wii was last.
yeah.
Wii
Wii
was
was
last.
last.
But the Wii U can't ever be last for the simple fact that it's not doing good enough. Like, they're gonna have to launch another system.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
the
but it's too early.
Well,
I'm
listen to this. Let me listen. This is one argument towards them if they release this system in 2016. I don't think they will. I think there's a 0% chance. But then, okay, so they're technically on the 9th gen, but Xbox One and PS4 probably have an 8-9 year life cycle. So by the time that the 9th gen Nintendo system's up, it'll be like a year after the Xbox One and PS4 are done. So like they'll actually be lined up better that way than trying to drag the Wii U out for 8 years, and they're just gonna like.
I see that point, and I was
That's the
kind of
only
thinking
way
that.
that would be a benefit.
What
And
I sort of think Nintendo might be doing, since Miyamoto recently, like, he came out and he said that, I think that they're kind of getting to the point where they're just going to 100% be on their own console release schedule and not worry about generations, the competition, what's this doing compared to this or that, and yada yada. I think they're trying to like create that sort of business model, which kind of does mean it makes it harder for third parties to keep up. We're not going to get the same games always that the other systems are getting, and so they might be kind of like sidestepping that, but. And in the face of trying to survive on their own, without the media, without the third parties, without all this other BS, maybe that's what they're doing. I kind of wonder if that's what they're trying to get at with this schedule. So they don't really care what the competition's doing.
And they did say the next 3D Mario game's probably going to be a launch title, so I would be shocked if that takes like 5 years from now.
Yeah, see, that's my other question to all you guys who you're like, oh, like I don't want it because there'd be a drought for a while and stuff. What if it did come out in 2016, and what if it had a couple killer launch games, like really, really good ones, like a Mario, like a Metroid, or whatever? Like, would that persuade you to actually pick it up?
Yeah, I
and
would
launch?
buy it no matter what.
Well, yeah, if it did that, but
The thing is, remember though.
the smarter thing they could do is actually say, oh yeah, we got this is our lineup, and on launch day, you launch with the 3D Mario, but have demos for the other games to make it feel realer.
Yeah.
Because if they did with the Wii, it was like, oh yeah, these are coming, and then Wonderful 101 basically came out a year later.
Yeah.
Same with Pikmin.
Yeah.
And the tough thing is do they support the gamepad? Do they support backwards compatibility, or do they make it direct
definitely-
x86?
No, they'll support backwards compatibility. I think they'll always do that.
Iwata's comments about them they're going to try to keep it, but they already said pretty much they're going to finally change the architecture from, the Wii basically was a stronger GameCube, and the Wii U is a stronger Wii.
Yeah,
And
it's all
I think he
based
said
on
now
a
they're
power
actually going to
PC.
change that.
Yeah, it's on a power PC, and I think they're going to try to go to more of a PC architecture or something even better than a power PC. It could be something.
Something that their handheld could run and their home console.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember what it was, but they just started investing in a new technology, I think.
That screen technology.
Yeah, the screen
Yeah.
That
technology.
form. You can form it to whatever.
This is just one thing that they just have to avoid doing. Don't put out your biggest titles during the first years, because remember, that's what happened with the Wii. And then we had 4 years with basically nothing, right? After the first 4 years. And now we're here with the Wii U where we're getting everything now because basically we need it, right? It's needed, right? Because we don't have third parties a lot. So they just have to bring out the games as much as they can. Don't just bring them out like that. Just make them go, because this year we're going to have plenty of games, trust me. And Zelda is definitely going to make people in there, keep people playing for a long time. So just don't keep going out and rushing these franchises. I'm not saying like rush out the development. I'm just saying like rush out these franchises, because then you'll have nothing planned in the future.
Well, remember, like, the Wii came out in 2006 with Twilight Princess, but then 2007 is when both Mario Galaxy and Metroid Prime 3 came out.
Yep.
So they kind of started to space it out, and then Galaxy 2 and Other M were like a year or two after that. So it's kind of spaced out, but you're right, they still can't come out like so guns blazing that the drought starts after the first year.
Yeah,
they couldn't do that either.
I want to bring up one of my least favorite people who got out of game journalism, Adam Sessler. He was ranting and raving in 2012. I actually got on his Address the Sess show and asked him some questions, and he thought this was in end of 2012, or it was towards the end of 2013, before 3D World, before Wind Waker. He said that in his opinion, Mario Kart should have been out. 3D Mario should have been out. Donkey Kong, Smash, he's like named all their top games. He's like, these games should have been out already. This is unacceptable.
Yeah, what?
Like,
He's stupid.
That's when
like, that guy is an idiot. Like, honestly, on PS4, honestly, Last of Us 2 Uncharted should have been out.
And that's why you don't have
God
those
of
type
War.
of people
5
in the
Years
country.
War should have been out. Like, it doesn't make sense.
that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because he should have said Wonderful 101 and Pikmin 3 should have been out, and that should have been the end of it.
He
Yeah.
worked for G4. Enough said.
Yeah, and then he ruined Rev 3, one of my favorite YouTube channels, and now they're done. So, but anyway, yeah, like, why would you want all your big hitters? I think the Wii U's they're already, almost all of them are out already. Like Smash and Mario Kart,
Yeah.
they're top two, big sales-wise, and Mario, 2D and 3D Mario games are the runners-up, and then Zelda's after that.
Yeah, we have Zelda, Star Fox, Yoshi, and Kirby all this year.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say a popular, something that's not popular. But
Yeah.
here's a fact: video games do not sell systems, and people might say, "What? That's ridiculous." But I'm gonna be honest here. So many people wanted a Blu-ray player. I'm not a Blu-ray player, a DVD player.
hmm
They ran out and got the cheapest one, PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
So many people wanted a Wii. Yeah, it was a game, Wii Sports, but that's all they wanted for it. Even though that's not what happened. A lot of games were sold. Millions of games were sold.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the PlayStation 2. But it's always this major gimmick that leads it to become, that explosion of a popular console.
hmm
PlayStation 4 right now. There's no standout product on that system. Nobody can argue that. But it's selling ridiculously just off of popularity, word of mouth. It was like that February event they had where really they show nothing, and people was like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be the greatest system ever." And I was sitting there wondering, like, what did you see?
Their marketing, it's because their marketing is just, and we can all agree,
it's
their
that-
marketing is amazing.
Yeah.
Right time, the perfect weather, lightning strike, and you became the Flash.
Well, and it was also the hype from that first E3, man. I'm telling you, they're still riding that, I think.
Yeah, they're still
that's what I'm
writing.
saying. It's all of
Yeah.
that. It's all
Yeah.
hype. Like video games, because let's be honest, the Wii U has a lot of quality. And in the year where most games came out on other systems that were, like, a lot of games came out that were broken, you would think the Wii U would be selling a lot better, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it only sold 40% better than it did the year before.
Off
It's
TV
just-
play, things like that. Like, you can do Netflix, you can do Amazon. It's like, really, you can do so much, and there's no excuse.
It's really where I see, because I own one, and every single time there would be that third-party game or any kind of game in general coming out, it could even be an indie game. These people just buy it automatically because they need their hunger for a game, right?
Yeah.
And the PS4 is, and Sony said that to themselves, is made for casual people, right? They want to attract a casual audience, and they have. That's why they're at the numbers that they're at right now, and in order for and Nintendo really can't get that back, because right now they're trying to get the actual gamers, the one that actually plays games, not plays FIFA or.
Yeah, they've said that's what
That's
they
what they
want
were
to do.
criticized for during the
Sony
week.
said it best. They said, we don't know why the PlayStation 4 is selling so well.
And Yoshida said it too. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
He
He
said
does
it out
not
of
know
his
why.
mouth. And that's the reason. It's about popularity at the end of the day. And that's fine. I'm not.
And you know,
knocking it.
it's not just
what it
popularity
is.
too, but there's this mentality that Nintendo is like the old guard, the old lion, and that it's not cool, to follow Nintendo. And I don't know why people do this to themselves, but they limit themselves and they put themselves in a little bubble and say, "I'm only going to be a PlayStation guy. I'm only going to be an Xbox guy." And it's like, dude, there are 5-star masterpiece titles on this system, and you refuse to play it because you think Nintendo is kiddie?
I
You're
just
the best
read
actual video games.
I just read yesterday another person saying he grew out of those types of games. He grew up like
Good games?
Mario.
I never understood that.
Like-
The thing is, I
Hey,
never
you
knew.
in the same lines, like recited, like, "Oh yeah, I grew up out of that. That's kiddie." It's
I-
like, are y'all
It's not
go?
just
Like, where do
games,
y'all
though.
go to actually recite these lines?
I
It's
never
not just games, it's
thought.
Developers too. Developers have this superior mentality, like they're too good to be associated with Nintendo.
You know, I
And this is why
never.
they don't get those third-party titles.
It's because they're embarrassed because they won't make games as good as Nintendo on their platform.
And a lot of these guys are young. They grew up on PlayStation 1 and Nintendo not being the cool guys.
It's a
I
sad
never
world.
thought. I never thought you playing or you growing out of actual games, not all these wannabe realistic type of games, right? You actually growing out of games, the thing that you wanted to play always, but I grew out of Nintendo.
I mean,
Call of Duty now.
I got tired of playing Madden, same game every year. I got tired of playing Call of Duty finally. But it's because they release them every year. So, you're talking about games don't sell, systems, and I just got me looking at the PS4. What do you think the top 3 selling games are on the PS4?
Ooh, good
Call of
question.
Duty, Call of
Let's see,
Duty.
Resogun,
Grand Theft Auto is one of them.
Grand Theft
Yeah, that's
Auto,
number 3.
and Call of Duty.
Call of Duty's number
Call of
1.
Duty.
Advanced
And probably
Warfare.
Last of Us and FIFA.
No, FIFA's 2. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, almost at 6 million. FIFA 15. Grand Theft Auto 5. Then it goes to Destiny, Watch Dogs, Call of Duty Ghosts, and get this, Assassin's Creed Unity is the number 7, almost 3 million sold.
Oh my God.
By the way, I think with the exception of Last of Us, not one of those is an exclusive game.
No, The Last of Us is number 8, and then it's FIFA, Far Cry. So number 7 is Assassin's Creed Unity, even with all the problems, all the bugs.
Well, they were
glitches.
smart. Again, they kept the reviews away from people for like just
Yeah,
that first
yeah,
12
they-
hours.
Yeah.
That's when the game sold really well, you know?
It's the popularity to say Assassin's Creed, I'm gonna buy it. And Assassin's Creed, like, people think like it's gonna go away. It's not, because once the movie comes out, people are gonna buy it even more.
Nah, it won't go away until people stop buying it. It's just not
And,
gonna.
you know, I had people that were huge Assassin's Creed fans, right? Huge Assassin's Creed fans, and they still went like, "This is the best game ever. This is the best Assassin's Creed." I'm just like, dude. Apparently, you do not. Oh yeah, there were some frame rate drops, but that didn't bother me. I was okay. And yet, when they play a game that I have on my Wii U, they're just like, "What is this garbage? What's wrong with the wait. I'm just like, "But you're okay with Assassin's Creed?" I'm just saying.
I will say, though, on the Wii U side, the number 7 highest selling game is Wii Party U. That's not much better.
Oh man.
Wow.
That game was garbage. But
See,
Yeah.
what I have to say on the whole idea of people like saying that they grow out of games or grow out of like Nintendo's games, I can't relate because I'm a 34-year-old gamer and I own all the platforms in a gaming PC and I like and I support all of them. And I love Gears of War, I love Halo, I love Last of Us, I love Uncharted, I love those games too. But I grew up gaming with Nintendo, and still, as someone who owns every possible available option to me with the exception of a Vita, it is still Nintendo's games and their platforms that are the most interesting and the most fun to play. And I
that's
just
a
don't
good
understand
point.
why other people, what do I see that so many other people can possibly not see? Like, my secondary console is my Xbox One and my PlayStation 4. Those are my number 2. My number
Same.
1 is my Wii U. Like, the
Same.
end.
And
Yeah.
if you're
And my
here's the
PC,
thing,
I do game on my PC. I have to give that shout out because I do play that a lot too.
like gamers who Nintendo fans, like I've said this before, they already knocked down the walls. So we also like Call of Duty games. Some of us like Grand Theft Auto. Some of us like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. Like we don't have boundaries like that.
Yeah, that's the way to be. That's the way to be.
They're in the bubble, like Mike said, of those types of games, and they won't go outside that. But we don't have any bubbles, I don't think. And
Yeah, see, I've got no bubbles. I have no boundaries. I play everything, and still, Nintendo shows me even directly set up against the competition with all 3 below my TV right now. They still rise above them with the quality of their games. Like,
Yeah.
and the problem is other people will be like, "Oh, it's only the PlayStation 4 I like," and whatever. And it's like you probably have barely ever played a Wii U. You probably never even looked at it or held that controller, and you think you don't like it. Like, and that's what the thing that bothers me is people
They
not
also
going out
have
of their way to do it.
misconceptions of our games. They think that every Mario game is the same. They think
Mhm.
every Legend of Zelda
They
game
do.
is the same. They don't realize that, like, Zelda games are dark, like Majora's Mask, or, Paper Mario games have sexual innuendo and things. They have no clue.
Yeah.
Because they just think, oh, Mario is kiddie, Zelda is kiddie. They don't have any conception of what's going on in the Nintendo world because they're not a part of it.
I should admit, and also, I think I have to be kind of fair, though, and say there are the rare occasion where a Nintendo gamer does the same thing, and I also don't think that's okay. Like, at least experience what the competition has, and, like, if you say you hate Destiny because the internet says that you hate Destiny, like, that's fine. At least play it and know that you hate it, And, like, don't just shun the competition because it's not Nintendo. I feel like everyone should be open to anything and then decide what makes the most sense for you after you've experienced it all. And people just don't do that.
yeah, that's true.
You
I
know,
mean,
I haven't played Destiny, but because I'm never going to get a Microsoft console again. I just the
you can play it
Xbox
on
is
the PlayStation 2, though. You
Yeah.
can play it on your PS3 right now.
Yeah,
Maybe-
you can play it on anything. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a good game. Everyone hates
anyway-
it.
Anyway, it's not my kind of game anyway because the only real first person, the only shooters I really liked were Halo, and before that on the N64, GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and stuff. But I'm not going to play that game, Destiny, or whatever, and so I don't like to say like that I hated or whatever because I haven't played it. But I will say when I hear information that they hold back on the game, you know, that they only release content that's already in the game after you pay for it in, you know, increments of online DLC, which isn't actually DLC, but, you know, just unlocking what's already in the game, then I'm going to, you know, talk bad about it because that just sounds terrible.
Yeah,
You know?
those mistakes can be
And
made,
also
for
the
sure.
you know the stuff I heard about, like, you know, the random drops, like you fight super hard bosses and they give you nothing, like, you know, just random, like, low level loot and things like that. When I hear things like that, that's when I'll condemn the game. But, you know, otherwise I don't know how fun it is to play or not. But
Yeah, on this DLC is definitely
yeah.
that's a
That's
no-no.
not a good thing. That's a bad turn. Again, something Nintendo will never.
All right, Rob, you're breaking up there, and I think we've gone on 2 hours. I'm gonna pull the plug on this. This fanboys, we can't stop from talking, and you know, it's a good discussion, but we got to end this here. We're going past 2 hours, so I'll let you guys do your sign-offs. Just want to say thanks to the guests. Red, thanks for coming on again. Rob, great having you for the first time on the Juice is Loose. Megan, Mike, as usual. Good to have you guys back. And each week, like I said last week, I'm going to kind of mix up the guests each week. So hopefully get ASAP Rel back and Derek Steelfox back next week and some other guests. So yeah, thank you guys for being on and everyone who's watched and all the questions. Didn't get to them all, but appreciate everyone who asked that. So we'll go ahead and final thoughts, sign-offs. We'll start with you, Rob. Go ahead.
Sure. I'm going to talk really slow in case I'm breaking up. I hope I'm not breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Darn it. Thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun. I'll see you next time.
Okay,
Thanks,
that
Rob.
came through fine.
Oh, great, of course.
Yeah, now you sound great. So if you wanted to say any more, go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I would want to say is that, again, my channel that I run is Rule of Two Review, if it's okay to at least give that plug. And it was awesome doing this. This was the first time I was on the Juices Loose, and I wanted to do it for a long time. So thanks for having me on, Terminator Juice, and it was good having a chat with you guys, and go Nintendo.
Awesome, yeah. Good job. I'll have you back sometime in the near future. It's good having you on finally. So
Thanks.
Michael, you're a veteran to the Juices Loose, but if you got any final thoughts, now's the time.
Final words. So what's the Nintendo Magic? The Nintendo Magic is amazing gameplay, 5-star titles, a vast amount of IP characters that never get old, constantly new experiences, and a company that has pride and cares about its fans and strives to do what's right by us in terms of gaming. So it's the gaming first and the dollar second. And Nintendo is just an amazing company, and you need to play Nintendo games because, in my opinion, they're a godsend in this game industry. And when Nintendo leaves, pretty much the industry, in my opinion, will be dead. So,
Yeah. Well said. I agree with
my
that.
final thoughts on that. Yep. And so thanks, guys, for letting me be on here. My name is NW Order for Life. It's my YouTube channel. I do some anime reviews and game reviews. I haven't done anything in a couple weeks. I'm going to get back to it soon. So be sure to look out for that. Great talking to Rob and Red Knight and Juice as always and Mega. And I'll see you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Mega. Go ahead.
Well, you know who it is, Mega Gamer Man, and you know where to check me anyway. But it was great talking with all you guys. Really great. It's really great to show our fanboyism and all that stuff. Just kidding, of course. But thank you all for watching. It's been really fun talking and discussing this stuff. And I hope to see you all in the next episode. Thank you again, Terminator, for letting me be here. So I'll see you guys later. And like I always say, don't lose your way. Don't be afraid. Just get to the end. I just had to be quick on that.
And I do want to say that all the haters, if any of I don't really have like haters following me or anything, but I'm sure that we're just being complete fanboys this whole time, this whole 2 hours, and
Yep.
if there is any haters watching it, they'll have something to say about it. But you know, we don't.
Why are you watching?
We're proud of it. We're proud of it. It's cool.
Well, I forget that they love to watch Nintendo content.
They do, absolutely.
Hate to play the games, but love to watch like us talk about them.
So go ahead, Red. Great having you back on. And you got any final thoughts? Or...
Yeah, I finally made it a full episode, which is great. I know you went long here. I got to blame the Kingdom Hearts part for that. No, but it was good talking to everybody on this, and I definitely want to do this again. Thanks for having me, Terminator Juice. And yeah, we had a good conversation that was not fanboyish at all.
And I see you uploaded a new video. I'll
Yeah,
have to watch
a
that.
Amiibo review, which I think some people will like, some people will probably hate it. Oh well.
All right, well, I'll check that out. And yeah, this is the Juices Loose episode 31 and Nintendo Difference. Great discussion, guys. I mean, really, I feel like we were pretty. I mean, we were biased to a point, but I think we did it in a fair way. I think we made good points. And of course, there's a side to everything. Like Sony fans might think we said something completely ridiculous, but I feel like we had a great discussion. Appreciate you guys for joining me and all the viewers that stuck with us for the whole 2 hours and 12 minutes. So yeah, we'll try to make it shorter next week, but it's hard to cut it off when we're having a good discussion. And like that Kingdom Hearts added like 40 minutes, I think.
The Kingdom Hearts episode.
Yep. And all right, we're gonna end this video, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks.